about my mom.
It became physical.
4th grade.
When was the next time?
5th grade.
And mom's old enough to know better.
The defendant attempted to hit me with her vehicle, jumped out, told me how she should have ran me over.
That, Miss Farr, is threatening.
Okay, that's your opinion.
My opinion is the only one that matters here.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Yoconda Vera is suing the mother of her daughter's schoolmate, Bridget Farr, for damages from assaults on her daughter and harassment.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 623 on the calendar, the matter of Vera versus Farr.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
I'd like the 2 young ladies who were involved in this fight or whatever it was to stand up next to their mothers. Tell me your first name.
Michaela.
And yours?
Brittany.
How long have you been in school together?
Since pre-K.
So you've known each other for 6 years? Were you ever friends?
Yes.
When did you stop being friends?
2nd grade.
Why did you stop being friends in 2nd grade?
Because she started being nasty.
Friends in 2nd grade.
Because she said that I was being nasty to her.
Were you being nasty to her?
Yes.
I like that. Why were you being nasty to her? You remember? That's a while ago. You don't remember why you were being nasty?
No.
Well, you're much older now than you were in the 2nd grade. You're 10?
11.
11. You?
10.
So it's been a long time that you haven't liked each other.
Yes.
When did it start to become more than just not like?
3rd grade.
What happened in the 3rd grade?
Then she started talking about my mom.
Why?
I really don't know. I really wasn't talking about her mother.
Did you hear her talking about your mother? What would she say?
She kept on calling her fat.
All things that are really very nasty and little kid kind of things that, you know, I mean, that's just nasty and not the basis for a lawsuit. But at some point, Michaela, you say that it became physical. When did that happen?
4th grade.
Tell me what happened in the 4th grade.
We went walking home. We had like a snowball fight. I didn't have great aim, so when I threw the snowball, I accidentally hit Brittany. I still apologized, but she wasn't trying to hear it.
So you threw a snowball that hit her, and then?
I apologized multiple times, but she just didn't like me.
Tell me what happened.
But we was walking home, and
just the 2 of you?
No, it was a lot of us, and she threw a snowball.
Was anybody else throwing snowballs?
Yes.
So everybody was throwing snowballs?
Yes.
Were you throwing snowballs?
Yes.
Okay, and what happened?
And she accidentally hit me, and she apologized, but I didn't hear her, and she put her finger in my face, and I moved it, and then we just started fist fighting.
Well, how do you know she apologized?
I didn't hear her.
But you just told me she apologized. Did somebody tell you she apologized?
Yes.
Who told you that she apologized?
This boy named Ashmere.
He said to you she apologized. She said she was sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you say to him?
I said I didn't hear her.
Okay. Did it become physical after that?
Yes.
When was the next time?
A year later in 5th grade.
Tell me what happened, and keep your voice up so I can hear you.
In January, that's when we had another physical fight. That's when she kept on talking about my mother. I went to her and told her stop talking about my mother. That's when she pushed me really hard, and then that's when we started having a physical altercation.
So, and then you had a fight?
Yes.
So she pushed you?
Yes.
And then you hit her?
Yes.
And then she hit you?
Mm-hmm.
And you hit her, and there were other kids around?
Yes.
And is that the fight that we're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's not the basis for a lawsuit?
No, ma'am.
She hit your daughter. That's dismissed. They had a fight that started because of a push. It was a kid's fight. Nobody was injured?
No.
Right. Okay. And that was on what date?
January 21st.
And what happened on January 21st?
I get a phone call from one of her friends from school that she had just gotten into a fight with Brittany. They were right around the corner. I stepped out front, waited for her to walk up, and I was going to a neighbor's house who actually lives next door to Miss Shawan to ask for some help with my younger kids so that I can investigate the situation with Michaela, go to the police station, you know, do what we had to do. And on my way up Shropshire Court to my neighbor's house, the defendant attempted to hit me with her vehicle. Some of the kids from school were yelling, "Miss Yoko, watch out." And I turned around and I seen her coming for me. I jumped out of her way. She then stopped her car right in front of me, jumped out, told me how she should have ran me over, that she should beat my ass. And I just tried to walk away from it. Like, I didn't want any interactions with this lady. I don't know her like that. I just wanted to walk up the street to get some help from a neighbor.
What were you doing in your car?
Coming from work.
Had you gotten a call from your daughter that she had had a fight?
Yes, I did.
So you were on your way home?
Yes.
And you were angry?
Yes, I was.
And you saw Miss Vera?
First, yes, I did.
You saw Miss Vera. And
yes.
what did you...
And before I could get anything out, she started screaming at me, "Move your car."
Well, that's what I'm asking you. I want you to describe how you pulled your car up next to her.
Right on the side of the curve, right next to her.
That, Miss Farr, is threatening.
How is that
That, Miss Farr, put your hand down. That, Miss Farr, is threatening. I'm visualizing in my mind how that is.
Okay.
You're angry. You've gotten a call from your daughter that she was in a fight and she was hit, and you're on your way home. And you see the mother of the girl who she says hit her. And instead of you driving a car, which is a dangerous thing, you pull up right next to her.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that's what I did.
Well, I'm telling you.
She wasn't in the street.
What I'm telling you is it was threatening.
Okay. So can I finish explaining?
You can explain all you like. I'm telling you it was threatening.
Okay. That's your opinion. Okay.
In fact, my opinion is the only one that matters here.
Okay.
Actually, who was that?
Her dad.
Her father, right?
Yeah.
You know what her father said when you said that to me?
What?
He went like this, "Oh, she's going to lose it." Hand down. That action with the car was threatening.
Okay.
Now, so far, the kids have had a fight, and it's an ongoing problem. And I have to tell you something. It's really not nice. If you're calling her mother names, which you probably are, it's not nice. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
And if she accidentally threw a snowball and it hit you because everybody was throwing snowballs and she did apologize and you didn't accept her apology, that too is not nice. So I don't know whether this is a problem that can be resolved. It sounds as if you have friends in common and you may not like each other, but that doesn't give either one of you the right to be uncivilized to each other. And somehow you learn that, and you're not supposed to learn civilized behavior in school. You're supposed to learn civilized behavior at home. That's where you learn morals, that's where you learn honesty, that's where you learn respect. You're supposed to display all of those things in school, but it's not the school's job. It's your job. And pulling your car up next to her was an act of aggression, the way you did. There's no question about that in my mind.
Okay.
As a result of that, she filed for an order of protection.
Yes, ma'am.
That's your order of protection. You want to be compensated to the tune of $5,000. That isn't happening.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They were going back and forth at each other.
I haven't heard a back and forth. I heard that...
You never let her
Just a second. Did she ever call you names?
No, ma'am.
And later today...
Your deposit was $250, and you're suing her for $5,000 for whatever it is ridiculous. So
right.
I'm not bothering with the remainder of your claim because it's stupid.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Yaconda Vera says the mother of her daughter's schoolmate, Bridget Farr, owes for damages from assaults on her daughter and harassment. Bridget is countersuing for a false restraining order.
Okay, the fact that she didn't show up or didn't follow through with the order of protection, that's her business. But that was an act of aggression when you pulled the car up right next to her on the curb.
I pulled my car right next to her to ask her, can we talk about the car? I didn't say anything to her. I didn't say anything to her.
Why didn't you go home and speak to your daughter first?
She wasn't home yet. Want to do?
Now, let me ask you this question.
Miss Farr, where I live at.
Miss Farr, you know that these two girls have had problems in the past.
Yes.
Have the two of you, you and Miss Vera, tried to resolve it together?
I tried.
Well, tell me how, just a minute, how did you try?
I tried to go to the rental office. She wouldn't come to the rental office for a conference because it went to where we live at. We've been living there for years, back and forth, and it's been...
Just a second. Did you ask your daughter seriously, with a straight face and without a lie, whether she ever taunted Michaela and said negative things about her mother. Did you ask her that?
Yes, I did.
And what did she say?
She said she did.
She said she did?
Yes, she did.
Are they in the same class?
No, ma'am.
And the school has been advised that these children should not be in the same class?
Absolutely. I actually have a letter from the school after the first fight. They did a thorough investigation and concluded that my daughter was, in fact, the victim of bullying and harassment. They are very well aware of the situation.
Well, certainly if it continues, one of you is going to have to find a different school, and I certainly hope that if that was the result of the investigation, was it? Was that the result of the investigation? That your daughter was responsible for the bullying and harassment? I want to see it.
That's what they said, but...
Well, that's what, if that was the result of the investigation, that's all I'm asking you.
No, that wasn't the... No.
I'd like to see it.
I never received anything saying that.
I'm reading. Okay, as a result of the investigation, of a complaint that you made on March 10th, 2015, it was determined that your child may have been the subject of bullying behaviors as reported. School administration has handled this case by administering and implementing disciplinary action against the perpetrator, or perpetrators consisting of, and then they go into their rules. Under what rules? Are you telling me, Ms. Farr, that you were never contacted by the school back in January, February, or March of 2015?
Yes, I had, but not for bullying.
For what?
They were just talking about the fight. We had conference and everything. They never said anything about bullying, my daughter being a bully.
Well, let me tell you this. If your daughter told me at the beginning that she called Michaela's mother names, and she told you the same thing.
Yes, she did. And
she couldn't give me an explanation as to why she was calling her mother names, which is bullying.
Okay.
And if that conduct, that makes it unpleasant for her daughter to...
They were going back and forth at each other.
But just a second. I haven't heard a back and forth. I heard that...
You never let her
Just a second. I asked questions. Did she ever call you names?
No, ma'am.
It's your job to teach her how to be a good person. By taking the action you did with the car, you didn't set a good example, even if she wasn't there. You understand?
Okay.
Okay. We're done here. This case is over.
So what about my counterclaim?
It's dismissed. You mean for filing a false restraining order?
Yes.
It's dismissed. You deserve to have a restraining order. That was an aggressive act to pull up your car next to her in a way I know that you did. We're done.
Please excuse me. Step out.
She's been bullied. The bully's here.
It's just back and forth.
Because nobody wants to be bullied.
It's just kids being kids.
She can stop bullying me.
I hope we just stay away from each other and go on with our lives.
I just want her to have a peaceful life without all the drama.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lampkin versus Thompson. Step forward.
Octavius Lampkin is suing her former friend, Andrea Thompson, for the return of a security deposit.
Well, this is not such a difficult case. At least the plaintiff's part is not such a difficult case. Miss Lampkin, at some point you gave Miss Thompson $250 to hold a room in a house that she was going to purchase or rent?
Condo, yes, ma'am.
And you ended up not moving in, and you want your deposit back.
Yes, ma'am.
Your deposit was $250, and you're suing her for $5,000 for whatever it is ridiculous. So I'm not bothering with the remainder of your claim because it's stupid.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I just told you you're entitled to your $250 back.
Yes, ma'am, but I've lost more than that.
Oh, I don't care what you lost.
Okay.
You want $5,000 from her. That's not happening. This is not the great American giveaway.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Octavius Lampkin says former friend Andrea Thompson owes for the return of a security deposit, lost wages, and emotional distress. Andrea's countersuing, claiming Octavius vandalized her car.
Okay, so $250 is what you are requesting. If you had emotional distress as a result of not getting the room, a deposit.
Well, the first week of February, so it was Friday.
First week in February, is that correct?
No, Your Honor, it was like the second week in February.
So let's make it February 8th.
Yep.
How's that? And when were you supposed to move in?
February 28th, 28th, 29th, basically.
So she was supposed to move in to a condo that you were already living in?
Yes.
The end of the month?
Yes.
And what happened?
Her behavior, Your Honor, she began to get really irate. You know, she wanted the relationship to be something different than what it was going to be. She wanted me to commit to something that I wasn't really willing to commit to. So she didn't want to move in after I let her. She wanted.
When did you tell her that she couldn't move in?
I believe it was February 20th, 19th, 20th.
Great. You have to return her deposit, $250. Now, let's get to your counterclaim. Your counterclaim is that she vandalized your car.
Yes. She called the police on me.
She vandalized your car is what the counterclaim is.
Yes. She didn't get through to me after she called the police on me. So a couple days later, I realized that my witness, my new roommate, I was at work, and she saw Miss Lampkin pull up behind my vehicle.
Don't tell me what she saw. Stand up. Did you allegedly witness this?
It was March the 3rd.
Tell me what you saw.
I was in my bedroom because when I drive her car, the car is always parked where my bedroom window is, and I have the blinds open, so I'm looking out the window, and I saw her pull up, Miss Lampkin, in a black car. I don't know what kind of car. She went to the driver's side towards the back passenger door, was at the car for a second, and then got back in her car and left.
Okay. Did you report this to the police?
I did. When I finally got home, I called the police, Your Honor.
On the 3rd?
Yes.
Of March?
Yes.
Did they give you a police report?
I waited for 4 to 5 hours, and they never showed.
Okay. Do you have photographs of the car?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
I have it on my phone.
That's okay. That's better.
Okay.
Usually clearer.
That's the photo of the scratch, and then that's the photo of the whole car.
Okay. Had you ever met her before?
I saw pictures of her, never in person.
I'm sorry?
I'm listening. March 3rd.
March 3rd, I was at work. I'm sorry. That's not true. I'm sorry.
You don't even know what time it was. What time do you work?
I work 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What time is this?
Between 5:30, closer to 6.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, did you ask her for your $250 back?
Yes, I did.
And she refused to give it to you?
Yeah, but what she's saying is not true.
I don't care. I just told you you're entitled to your $250 back.
Yes, ma'am, but I've lost more than that.
Oh, I don't care what you lost.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I read the whole thing. Lost wages, late fees, punitive damages for emotional distress. You want $5,000 from her. That's not happening. This is not the great American giveaway.
Yeah.
$250 is exactly what you gave her. That's exactly what you're going to get back. Now, your problem is you're probably not going to get back anything because I believe her when she says you scratched her car.
No, I'm sorry. Well, that's fine, but...
May I please have an estimate for the car damage? Very good. The defendant owes the plaintiff $250 as the return of the deposit, and I'm allocating $300 to take out the scratches in your car. Judgment on the counterclaim for $50. We're finished. Thank you.
Parties are excused. They step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge...
An hour. You make $800 tax-free a week. What did you need her to buy car parts for you for?
She kept insisting.
What would you think if I put a lien on your race car?
Next Judge Judy.
They both lied on national TV.
Well, I believe that the judge made a fair decision.
What goes up comes down, sweetheart. Know that.
She wanted more. She told me that she wanted more. And when she found out that I had a girlfriend, it was kind of upsetting to her.
That won't happen again. First and last time.
Just be careful who you have around you, you know.
She had in one hand a cigarette, in the other hand a cell phone.
A near miss on the road.
I swerved to avoid hitting her. She pulled up behind me and started honking her horn.
Then came the rage.
And you thought it was a good idea to get out of your car to chat.
I don't know if I would characterize it as a good idea.
He tried to hit my car.
He did not try to hit your car. You could be a drama queen all your life.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinlein. This is Judge Judy. Patricia Wynn for damaging her car during an incident of road rage.
Order. All rise. It's case number 552 on the calendar, the matter Winstead versus Town.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Winstead, on what date did this incident happen?
September 21 on Monday around 7:45 in the morning.
And Mr. Town, Miss Winstead was backing out of her driveway.
Yes.
And you were coming down the street. So you clearly have the right of way coming down the street.
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
Well, I was returning home from dropping my daughter off from school early morning, coming down the road. It's a T street, and I live...
So did you know Miss Winstead from
Never
previous...
met her.
Never met her. Were you coming out of your driveway, Miss Winstead?
Yes.
So you live on that street?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I was proceeding down, and I saw her backing out, and she backed out part way and then stopped, so I assumed everything was cool. She was paying attention. As I approached and got a lot closer, she backed out the rest of the way. I swerved to avoid hitting her, barely getting around her and almost hitting the car on the other side of the street.
So you swerved?
I swerved, yes.
To me.
Shut up! Don't interrupt him.
Sorry.
So anyway, I swerved. I looked over at her to see what was going on, and I saw she... And
what was she driving with, her nose?
Perhaps the cigarette hand was on the wheel. I just...
Keep going.
At that moment, I don't know.
Keep going.
Initially, I just shook my head and proceeded on. I got up to the stop sign at the corner. She pulled along behind, and I'm sorry, when I looked over, she yelled at me to slow down. Like I said, initially, I just kind of let it go, continued on to the stop sign. At that point, she pulled up behind me and started honking her horn and yelling at me. And I thought to myself, this person really wants to chat.
She wants to what?
Chat.
Mr. Town, let's get to reality, because
Yes.
you don't look like a sit man. Uncross your arms. Uncross your arms.
I'm sorry.
You almost had an accident with somebody who you thought was driving irresponsibly.
Yes.
A woman who tells you to slow down, and then you go because she's behind you now, because you swerved around her and got to the stop sign.
Yes.
According to you, she honks her horn at you.
Yes.
And you thought it was a good idea to get out of your car to chat.
I don't know if I would characterize it as a good idea, but it was the idea at the time. I mean, I admit at that point I probably made a mistake, if not probably, absolutely. But I did get out of the car. She was yelling, I was yelling.
What was she yelling?
She was yelling that I was going too fast, and...
Tim, what's your problem? Sorry. Well, you did say in your complaint he was going too fast. He was speeding.
But I didn't say nothing to him. I didn't even talk to him. He get out in this car like a crazy, like somebody...
Of course he did. Of course he did.
I'm sorry.
Of course he did. He was angry.
Yes, that's what he said to the detective. I'm sorry.
So you got out of the car, and she was yelling at you, and you were yelling at her.
Yes.
And...
I mean, that's about it. I mean, we just...
No. That's not all it. That's not why we're here today. We're not here over yelling.
Oh, the slap. The slap of the car, excuse me. Slap of the car.
You hit her car.
I smacked her car, yes.
Causing a damage. That's what she wants you to pay for.
That is why we're here, but that is not how it happened. I hit her car on the top. I said something along the lines of, you want me to hit your car? There, I hit your car. I smacked, downward. I said, there, I hit your car. Next time, it'll be my car that hits your car. And that, yes. But I did not touch the side of her car or anywhere near the doors. I mean, the door where the door meets the roof, perhaps, but nowhere near the passenger.
Can I see the police report, please?
Yes.
In addition to the police report, I'd like to see photos of the car. You understand, Miss Winstead, listen to me carefully. You understand that day.
Yes.
You know what that means?
Yes.
That means when you're backing out of the driveway,
yes,
if a car is coming, they have the right of way.
The right of way.
They have the right of way.
I understand that.
That doesn't justify a road rage because...
But it's not what, you know what happened. I'm sorry.
It's exactly what happened. You were coming out of your driveway.
Yes, I'm coming out from my driveway. When I get out from my driveway, I stop in my driveway. I see him, you know, coming, you know, to my right from the street, driving like a crazy. It's a little neighborhood. It's 25 miles an hour. I see him, you know, coming, you know, to me. He came out, you know, like he drive and make a loop to make an accident. This is what he tried to do.
Oh. You're ridiculous.
I'm not.
No, you're absolutely ridiculous. So what you're suggesting to me is he tried to turn...
He tried to eat my car.
You're ridiculous. 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 And I don't believe it. I believe that you weren't...
This is what happened.
No. He may have gotten angry and became nutty afterwards, but... Have you been psychiatrically hospitalized in the last 6 months?
Not in my entire life.
Just a second. Not in your entire life. Are you on any prescribed psychotropic medication?
No, I am on some acid reflux meds.
Acid reflux, aren't we all? Do you understand? There's nothing wrong with him, madam. He did not try to hit your car. I mean, you could be try to hit your car.
Is this what you tried to do?
You can say it, you can hold your heart, you can hold your hand, you can hold your behind, you can hold whatever you like. He did not purposely try to hit your car. You weren't paying attention.
No.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. No. And that doesn't justify him causing any damage to your car, but just you so that you know, if there had been an accident, it would have been your fault.
I understand.
Just so that we are clear on that. If instead of swerving to avoid your car, he had hit your car,
yes,
the police would have written this up and said, Miss Winstead, coming out of her driveway, was hit by the defendant, and I'm citing her, not him. So you were wrong in the drive, but he was wrong in the aftermath of the drive.
What I'm telling you is what...
The date of the incident was September 21st. Why didn't you report it until October 7th?
Because I didn't have the information when the incident happened, it take off. I didn't have the license plate, I didn't have nothing. If it would take me like almost like a little bit more than 10 days to find him. And there's a time I find him, I would write the driver license.
Well, that's not a reason.
I didn't know he's my neighbor.
You should listen to that's not a reason not to report it to the police.
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't have the information. I didn't know his name. I didn't know he's my neighbor. I didn't know what I'm going to say.
Well, if you shut up for a second, I'll tell you what you say. You say, I was just a victim of a road rage. Some man was crazy. He got out of his car. He punched my car and he frightened me. And then next day and the next day and the next day, you tried to get the information as to who it is, but you give a description of the man. You give a description of the car. That's what you do.
Yeah, I make a mistake for that.
Yeah, you made a lot of mistakes that day. He's still not allowed to hit your car. Can I see pictures of the car, please? And estimates to have it fixed.
Door, and this is the front door. Back door, when, you know.
Okay.
Estimate to have it fixed, please.
You know, my car, you know, with
did you understand what I said to you? I said I want the estimate to have it fixed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, but I gave it to you already, I think, no?
No, you didn't. You gave me 2 photographs.
Okay, this is the estimate.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1637. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you. Oh, crazy. He came out like, he's making like a movement, with his arm.
Just the gall of someone to drive so,
talking, making no sense.
Inattentively, and then blame the other person when...
So my glass in the car, I grab my shoulder, shake me, and with his 2 fists.
I see people doing it all the time with the cell phones and everything else.
Well, the front door and the back door, the driver's side, and bang, and you know that.
And I think it was the straw that broke the camel's back on that day.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Dufton versus Shepard. Step forward.
Kathleen Dufton is suing former son-in-law, Terry Shepard Jr., for Social Security benefits meant for his daughter.
Mr. Shepard, how long were you married to Miss Dufton's daughter?
10 years.
And were you divorced at the time of her death?
No.
In what year did she pass away?
She passed away in 2005.
And you have 2 girls together?
Yes.
How old are your daughters now?
My daughters are 14 and 16.
And after your wife passed away, the girls lived with you?
Yes.
At some point, Miss Dufton, both girls came to live with you.
Yes.
In what year did they come to live with you?
Amber came, Your Honor, December 2013, and Kaylee came in April of 2015.
Are both girls still with you?
Yes.
Do you have either legal guardianship or custody over them?
I have legal guardianship of both girls, yes, Your Honor.
Your lawsuit says that during a certain period of time, Mr. Shepard received Social Security benefits for the benefit of living with you. When did you start to receive Social Security benefits for the girls, Mr. Shepard?
After Vicky passed away.
And how much do you receive for each of the girls?
Back then it was $800 a month.
Per child?
Per child.
And what is it now?
I don't know. She has it.
How much is it now?
It's $11.69 now, Your Honor.
Per child?
Per child.
And what months do you claim Mr. Shepard kept the Social Security checks while the girls were living with you?
It was all Amber's Social Security, not Kaylee's. And it was from December 2013 up until May of 2014.
And do you get your Social Security checks, the ones that you get for the girls? When in the month do you get them?
Around the 5th of every month.
Did you start to collect in May or did you start to collect in June?
I started collecting, I believe it was through May, I'm not sure, but this is a letter from the Social Security office that would tell you exactly what.
I'd like to take a look at it, please.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When she went in December, was it with your permission?
No. She came to the house and took her without my knowledge. I was going to have her arrested for kidnapping.
Just a second. Did you have his permission to take Amber to your home?
And later today.
That's what you swore to?
Yeah.
Are you changing that now?
No.
So now that you two ladies are going to stop playing with me so that I can get over this because I'm starting...
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kathleen Dufton says her former son-in-law, Terry Shepard Jr., received Social Security checks meant for her granddaughter.
Okay, Social Security Administration indicates, Mr. Shepard, that during that time, they paid you a total of $6,900.
Yes, ma'am.
For Amber. Okay. Did you turn those checks over to Miss Dufton?
No, I did not.
Why?
I was not told to turn them over to them.
Well, you
to
weren't
her.
supporting
I wasn't told
her.
to turn them over to her.
You weren't supporting the child.
I understand that. I was actually talking with Social Security to make payments to them, which never expired, never happened after that, which was my fault.
So this is money that you do, in fact, owe her.
Well, I owe Social Security.
Well, Social
my
Security paid. Listen, Social Security's not coming after you for the money. So if what you're telling me is that you have no defense for this action, I accept that.
Do I have any defense? I have just all kinds of stuff that she has brought me to court. She has...
I don't care if she brought you to court.
Well, you know,
listen,
do you at least
this
see
is a
this?
very simple issue. You want to explore other emotional, psychological issues, sir? You take it to me. The issue before me is Social Security paid you December, January, February, March, April, and May, 6 months, and they paid you a total of $6,900 when the child was not in your custody. And your response is because I was never told to pay her that money. Well, let's say you were collecting disability, sir. Who is this person?
My wife.
This is your wife. Now, I'm not wishing this on you, but let's say you died. And you were collecting Social Security disability insurance because you were disabled. And those checks kept coming because disability didn't know that you died. Do you think your wife should return those checks and say he's deceased? Think when somebody dies, they continue to collect Social Security?
No.
They don't continue. And if their children take the checks and cash them, they go to jail. Well, that's the same thing that you did. You don't need somebody to tell you that this money isn't yours. I mean,
Actually, I didn't think that my daughter was going to stay there, to be honest with you.
Well, when she went in December, was it with your permission?
No.
When did it become with your permission?
It didn't. Eventually the court did, but she came to the house and took her without my knowledge. I was going to have her arrested for kidnapping.
Just a second. When did she come and take her?
On December 13th.
Is that
I was
correct?
at work.
Just a second. Is that correct?
No.
Guardianship of her.
I've got 2 papers of guardianship. One was the December 2013. The way the state does it is that they give you temporary and then they give you permanent. So I
Well,
received...
on what date did you get temporary guardianship?
December 16, 2013.
Then you don't get December. Did you have his permission to take Amber to your home?
Amber told me, come and get me. Dad said I can go. I called my attorney. My attorney said, go get her. And he had...
You don't get December.
He had a conversation.
You don't get December. If a teenager calls you and says, come and get me, Dad says I could go, the first thing that you're supposed to do is call the parent.
Well, there's a lot of information that preceded that situation.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Is your claim that she gave you a defective horse. Why would you lease a horse that's worth $1,500 for $1,500 without being able to own the horse at the end of the year?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kathleen Dufton says her former son-in-law, Terry Shepard Jr., received Social Security checks meant for her granddaughter.
Okay, it really doesn't make much difference because in December, albeit without his permission, because it was clear that it was without his permission, certainly without permission that he gave you, but she was there in January, and she remains there. So you knew she was there in January. You knew she had temporary guardianship in January. Okay, so we have $6,900 less $1,150, still at $5,750. Okay, anything else? Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
Thank you,
Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's always been a thorn in my side in my family.
My grandchildren begged me to take them.
She just always been there to try to take my kids from me.
They lived.
Finally, she succeeded.
They lived a real hell.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Fawcett versus Ruger. Step forward.
Caroline Fawcett is suing Summer Ruger for the cost to board and feed her horse. Summer is countersuing for the unpaid balance of the horse.
Miss Ruger, I'm going to start with you. Did you lease or sell your horse to Miss Fawcett?
We were under the understanding.
Not understand. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear understanding. Did you?
It was a lease.
It was a lease.
Month-to-month payments of $100.
For how long?
For 15 months.
How much is the horse worth?
$1,500.
And it was worth $1,500 even. That's your signed statement. Read the first line of your signed statement.
I sold my horse Expo.
No, say it again slowly.
I sold my horse Expo to the plaintiff Caroline for $1,100 monthly payments.
Correct. That's what you swore to.
Yeah.
Now, so are you changing that now?
No.
So the question is, did you sell your horse to the defendant?
Yes, I sold the horse
to the defendant, and she was, according to you, to make payments on the horse of $100 a month until the horse was paid off.
Yes.
Your complaint says that you leased a horse from her.
That's correct.
She says that her horse was worth $1,500, and you're somebody who's familiar with horses. Why would you lease a horse that's worth $1,500 for $1,500 without being able to own the horse at the end of the year?
It was a lease-to-own purchase.
Fine. So now that you two ladies are going to stop playing with me so that I can get over this because I'm starting to get hungry for lunch.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, is your claim charge her for feeding the horse for the last year and boarding the horse for the last year? You don't get that.
Okay.
Great. And you made one payment of $100, and you sold the horse to her for $1,500, which means she owes you $1,400.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Good. Judgment on the counterclaim for $1,400. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She confessed to me that she had sold herself to one of her Uber passengers.
You had an argument with him, and during that struggle, he broke your finger.
That is correct.
Judge Judy.
That she only leased the horse, and she didn't want to,
Oh my gosh.
keep him or pay for it or anything that the contract said. Because she didn't get away with a lie.
I can't.
Sorry, whatever. I have nothing more to say.
How much money did you put on her credit card?
I would say between $1,200 and $1,500.
Did he fake his passion for his ex?
And you liked him?
I did.
To pursue his love of car racing?
She makes $8 an hour. You make $800 tax-free a week. What did you need her to buy car parts for you for?
She wouldn't let up. She kept insisting.
What would you think if I put a lien on your race car? That would really sting you, wouldn't it?
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 23-year-old Shaylin Stelly is suing her ex-boyfriend, Jonathan Freed, for unauthorized credit card charges.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 571 on the calendar in the matter Stelly versus Freed.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Miss Stelly, what do you do for a living?
I'm a caregiver.
Do you work for one person or more than one person?
I'm in a group home. I take care of 8 individuals along with 2 other staff.
And how long have you been doing that?
Almost a year.
Who do you live with?
My sister.
Is that your sister?
That's my mom.
That's your mom. You should say thank you. How much do you make annually? Dollars an hour. What do you do?
I just started my own business last month.
What did you do before last month?
I was working at another shop as well.
Name of the shop?
RevTech Motorworks.
How long did you work for them?
Roughly about 2 years.
Full time?
Yes, ma'am.
You paid on the books or in cash?
Cash.
How much did you make a week?
I'd estimate between $500 and $800. It all depends on how many vehicles we do per day.
Did you pay taxes last year?
No.
It's not an answer. Did you pay taxes last year?
No, ma'am, I did not.
So then you had plenty of money. If you made between $500 and $800 a week and you didn't share that with the government, you had a lot of money.
Not necessarily.
Well, unless you were putting it someplace else.
Well, I have full custody of my 2 kids and I have a mortgage payment, so...
So you want to tell me why you left this very lucrative job to start a business of your own?
It started slowing down a little bit, and my oldest son works with us a little bit at the shop when he's out of school, and so our dream was to start our own business, and so we just started it roughly last month.
So now you have no income?
No, I do have an income now.
From what?
Yeah, from running my own business.
How'd you do last month?
Last month, we processed probably, I'd say, estimated like seven vehicles, so it was okay.
So what did you need Miss Stelly for?
Well, the previous time, when we first met later, January...
story. I just asked you, since you're such a prosperous guy and make out so well and have your own business and gave up a relatively lucrative job where you were paid under the table, what did you need her to buy car parts for you for?
Well, ma'am, I was actually not making that much as you, per se.
Not me. I didn't say it. You said it.
Well, as far as you thinking I'm just under the table, bills-wise, as in I was battling for full custody of my children, attorney fees for that, my mortgage, house payment, utilities, childcare, so it actually adds up quite a bit. So I had some parts saved for what I needed to make the Vegas Nationals, and that was saved to my eBay account.
I don't know what you're talking about, Vegas Nationals.
No idea. Drag racing. So
Just a second. So you were involved in drag racing aside from taking care of your kids and making a mortgage payment? It was a passion.
Yeah, it was a passion of me and my sons.
How old is your son?
5, and I have a 4-year-old.
It was a passion of your 5-year-olds?
Yes, big time.
And somebody gave you full custody of the children?
I have full custody, yeah.
What's wrong with their mother?
She slipped up and took a wrong path in life, so...
She slipped up?
Yeah,
so you were the lesser of 2 evils?
No. No, ma'am. She made some bad choices in life, and I was currently big-time volunteer for the YCAP school district, and I was awarded Parent of the Year because I'm a huge...
It's absolutely wonderful. Why did you take her money?
She's the one that offered to pay for the parts, insisted...
Why did you? She's a hard-working lady. She makes $8 an hour. You make $800 tax-free a week. Why did you take her money?
She insisted
It's my question.
She insisted on buying the parts.
She insisted on buying the parts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want you to explain to me, because maybe she's see something in you that certainly is masked to the rest of the 10 million people out there. But would you tell me how she insisted on buying you parts for this car for your drag racing machine, which is your passion and your son's passion, the son,
yes, ma'am,
who is 5?
Correct.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm listening. I may not be looking at you, but I'm listening.
Well, she insisted on paying for the parts. I wasn't going to attend the race because I wasn't going to have everything ready. I have a document as well from witness statements of when she put her card on my account. I have a police document showing from the witness that she tried to say that her card was falsely stolen when they came to my house, and they were going to press charges, wanted me to press charges on her for false police report, but I insisted on not to because she said that I stole her card, and that's incorrect. I have witnessed statements. Yeah.
You sound like such a fool. Let's come on national television. You acknowledged before 10 million people, including every representative from the IRS, that you defrauded the government to the tune of, at least in the past year, $40,000 worth of income. Okay? Then you tell me a story, a whole geschrei, and all I asked you was a simple question: how she insisted on paying for the parts for the car you wanted.
She wouldn't let up. She kept insisting. I told her I wasn't going to be able to make the event, whether or not.
Told her I wasn't going to be able to make the event, whether or not. What does that mean?
Make the racing event.
So, just a second, I'm trying to get your English, Mr. Freed. You told her you weren't going to be able to make the event, whether or not.
Whether or not, if the parts came in time or not, because I wouldn't have my race car ready.
Oh, so you told this woman who you were dating briefly, is that what I gather, you were dating briefly, that you needed parts for your race car, but you really didn't need them so much because you weren't going to be able to make the race even if they came.
Correct.
Okay. And how much money did you put on her credit card?
Estimated parts that she purchased, I would say between $1,200 and $1,500.
And where are they now?
There's a few of them in my garage, and a few of them are installed on the race car.
And where is the race car?
At my house.
What would you think if I put a lien on your race car? You know I can do that.
Yes, ma'am. That would
really sting you, wouldn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
She's not dating you anymore. As opposed to some big man like you who makes about $30 an hour, according to what you just told me. So would you like me to put a lien on it? Is it titled where you are?
Yes, ma'am, it is. And I
couldn't do that.
It would hurt.
Much easier to pay her back the money, right?
Yes, ma'am, if I agreed for paying the parts, and I totally agree. But with my witnesses' statements...
I don't read witnesses' statements. You can take the witnesses' statements and put them away. I don't read witnesses' statements. If you have a witness, your witness can be sitting in that chair so I can question them, just like I'm questioning you. Do you understand?
I understand.
What's your pleasure, sir? You want to pay her the $1,200 for the parts, or you want to lien on your car?
I definitely wouldn't want to lien on my car, but I don't feel like I
need to hear the words out of your mouth.
No, ma'am, I would not like a lien on my car.
And yes, ma'am, what?
Miss Judy, I feel like I don't owe her the money since she insisted on buying the parts, because she took my phone and put her card information on my phone.
For the first charge that you made, which was $35, what was that for? She gave you her card because you wanted to make one purchase for $35. What was that purchase for, Miss Stelly?
A boost control for his race car.
What is that?
Boost controller.
$35. Was that the $35 bill?
Yes.
What month? Middle or end of February?
Beginning.
And when were the parts purchased?
I have all the transactions that he made with my card.
Can I see them, please? Did you know, Mr. Freed, that I think that they even put a full-time IRS worker whose only job is to watch this program? Actually, all done within 2 days.
Yep.
The 13th and the 15th.
Yeah.
What happened to the 14th, Mr. Freed, of February?
She's the one that purchased the parts, ma'am. I don't know. She did it at my house. Because in order to put a card on PayPal, you have to know the billing address. I don't know where she lived. I don't know her billing address. That's why I have witnesses' statements that my witness would have been here, but he had to work in McCall and he couldn't get time off. So I apologize for that.
I don't care. Now, when was this race that you didn't go to?
It just happened like 2 weeks ago, I believe.
What do you mean you believe? You was first to talk about a passion?
I stopped following it because I wasn't going to be able to make the event, and I've been so swamped with the kids and everything. I stopped following when the event was.
I think that there's so much more to your story. Miss Stelly, I want you to tell me how it came about. Yeah. And you liked him.
I did.
And you liked him. And you liked him a lot. Yeah, I know.
Well,
and
he asked if he could order something offline and that he needed to use my card. He used my card, gave me it right back. So after that he kept using it, using it, using it.
You think I believe that?
Yeah.
I want you to tell me when he broke up with you.
He stopped talking to me the day I confronted him, which was, it was like the 15th of last month. Because he got mad because I hung up on him to call my card, because he called to ask me if I've checked my account balance lately. And I said no, so I hung up on him, and I called
You mean he called you to tell you to check your balance? Why would he do that?
Obviously, because I didn't call him to yell at him to ask him why my money was all gone. Because whenever you make a transaction, it'll come up on your phone, and it says to push stop. And I thought, you know, that would cancel transactions. It just stopped it from coming up on my phone. So I had no idea he was using my card.
So you were notified?
I was, and then I stopped it, but it just stopped it from coming up on
your phone. Didn't stop the transaction?
No.
And you thought it stopped the transaction?
Yes.
Yeah. And later today.
So you had the puppy for 6 weeks, and how did you lose it?
He gets out through the gate.
Well, if he gets out through your front gate, why is he outside?
He wasn't potty trained yet, so I didn't keep him inside the house.
That's not responsible at all.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Shalene Stelly says ex-boyfriend Jonathan Freed owes for parts for his drag racer.
Now, too bad that your kids just had two alternatives. A mother who took a bad turn and you. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's the one that authorized it. She's the one that made the payments with her card.
It wasn't a gift.
The police got involved. The police saw what she did.
I couldn't afford to give somebody that amount.
That she made the transactions on herself.
I called, canceled my card. I reported fraud.
They said they can't do anything. It's a civil lawsuit.
Yes, but they said I couldn't do anything, and so I had to take it to court.
And I could have filed charges on her for false.
I gave him the authorization the one time, and that it made it okay.
Also, a police report for saying I stole her card.
Trust nobody.
Hey, money can't buy beauty, so she can have her 30 seconds of fame.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter.
Blanca Lomeli is suing her neighbor, 24-year-old Shannon Sturba, for the return of a pit bull puppy.
Miss Lomeli, you bought a puppy.
Yes.
When did you buy the puppy?
I got it towards the end of December.
Give me the date. When you're coming to court today, so we're supposed to know.
27th.
And who did you buy the puppy from?
My sister-in-law.
Step up, please. You had a litter of puppies?
Yes, I did.
What kind?
They're bullies.
What
pit bulls.
Are they purebred pit bulls?
Yes, they are. They're purple ribbon.
What does that mean?
They're purebred.
I don't know what that means.
They're pure bullies, like they're registered as a purebred.
With whom?
With whom?
With whom are they registered? What organization?
With OT Bullies.
Let me see. Heard of the United Kennel Club. Did you ever hear of United Kennel Club?
I've never heard of any kennel club.
American Kennel Club is what they have, AKC. And this is your dog. You have a male?
I have a male, yes.
Okay, and you used your male as a stud?
Yes.
Did you get pick of litter?
Yes, I have pictures of him.
No, not pictures. Did you get the pick of litter? You have the male dog, not the female dog.
Yeah, I have the. I kept all the puppies.
She has both parents.
I have both dogs. I have the male and the female.
Is this the first time that you bred these dogs?
Well, actually, it was an accident that I had a litter.
How many puppies were in the litter?
There was 9.
When were they born? No, don't look at her. Don't look at her. Look at me.
Well, I don't remember the exact date.
Give me the month, beginning, middle,
August 27th, around there.
So the puppies were 4 months old. Is that what you're telling me, Miss?
Yes.
Lomeli? It was 4 months old when you got the puppy?
Around, yes.
Shh.
About.
Just a second. She's not so sure. She's not so sure of this whole case. Your sister-in-law, she's not so sure.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're an irresponsible dog owner. You're an irresponsible breeder, because if you had 8 puppies and you never took them to the vet, you had no business having them, and you had no business selling them for $500, which I don't believe.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Blanca Lomeli says neighbor Shannon Sturba found her runaway pit bull and won't return it.
So you got the puppy when it was 4 months old. Well, that's kind of a long time to keep 9 puppies.
No, he was the last one.
So he was the only one left. Did you sell the others?
Yes, I did.
For how much? Each one? And then you'll tell me who you sold them to.
I sold them for $500, and it was mainly family that I sold it to.
So let me understand this. So you sold them for $500, so you made $4,000. You made $4,000.
Yeah, I did.
Now, you got this puppy the end of December, and when did you lose it?
Around the 12th, February 12th.
So you had the puppy for about 6 weeks?
Yes.
Do you have any other dogs?
My daughter, well, he's not my dog. It's her dad's dog, and she has him right now.
What kind of dog?
It's also a pit bull.
How old?
I don't know the age of that dog, but she's older.
So you had the puppy for 6 weeks, and how did you lose it?
When I go to work or when I go to drop off the kids at school when we're not home, he gets out through the gate.
He gets out through what gate?
My front gate.
Well, if he gets out through your front gate, why is he outside?
Because even when he's in the back, he gets out, and he wasn't potty trained yet, so I didn't keep him inside the house.
That's not responsible at all. Does the other pit bull get out?
No.
How come?
Because she's trained.
So you leave the other dog in the house?
No.
You leave them both outside?
When I'm not home, yes.
But the little one can get out?
Right.
On what date?
February 5th.
February 5th?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, you couldn't have lost the dog February 12th because she found the dog on February 5th.
Well, I lost it around the 12th.
It wasn't around the 12th. She found it on the 5th.
Okay.
Anyway, that's what this case is about. You found the dog. Nobody posted any signs. Did you call anybody to find the owner?
No, Your Honor. I asked neighbors.
But you didn't call the police, didn't call anybody. Now, who did you report the dog missing to?
My uncle lives across the street, and my cousin lives...
No. What authority?
I didn't post it to or called any authority.
You didn't post any
No.
authority? So you took the dog to the vet. According to what I read in your answer, you had the dog chipped.
Yes, Your Honor.
And vaccinated?
Yes.
When had you had the dog vaccinated? And what vet did you use?
I didn't take it to the vet yet.
What vet did you take the puppies to have them vaccinated?
I didn't.
Great. This case is going to be very easy for me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you're suing in the alternative for the $500 you paid for the dog or the return of the dog, right?
Right.
Right? That's your lawsuit. You said, if I can't have my dog back, I want $500 that I paid for the dog.
Right.
I want sister-in-law. That's first.
Do you want me to show you my pay stub?
Yeah, I want you to show me where you took out $500 in cash to give to your sister-in-law to pay for the dog.
My purse, so how would I show you that?
Very easy. You had to go to a bank to cash a check.
No, not if I carry cash on me.
Okay, fine. Wonderful. A, I don't believe anything that you just told me. B, I'm going to give you some money to compensate you, even though I know that you did not pay $500 for this dog. I know that you didn't pay $500 for it, and she didn't declare $4,000 on her income tax returns that she has to file on the $4,000 she made from the pit bulls. So I don't believe anything that you're telling me. The only thing that I believe is you're an irresponsible dog owner, you're an irresponsible breeder, because if you had 8 puppies and you never took them to the vet, you had no business having them, and you had no business selling them for $500, which I don't believe. So you keep the puppy because they shouldn't have a puppy. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $100. We're done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He said you were breaking the rules.
Getting too close to another boat.
But did shipmates go overboard with their response?
His crew member casted a...
Judy.
Drove around the streets looking for it because the puppy didn't leave my front yard.
Well, he roams the streets,
So she stole it, obviously.
Or the street that my mother lives on.
She took it knowing it wasn't hers.
And he entered my mother's yard while I was visiting her, so.
I drove by her house and she was in the front with it.
She said that she often hears it outside crying.
I let her know that it was mine and that I had lost it.
It's always outside, so my heart went out to him.
She said that she wasn't giving it back unless I took her to court.
I'm very pleased.
I guess call the police when you lose it so you have proof.
I'm so excited that I get to keep him.
You knew it wasn't going to be easy, right?
Yeah. Their romance began online.
Where did you meet Miss Conroy?
I met her on a dating website, Your Honor.
But the internet
Tell me under what circumstances she left.
was also their downfall.
She confessed to me that she had sold herself to one of her Uber passengers.
You had an argument with him, and during that struggle, he broke your finger.
That is correct.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Patrick Estrada is suing his ex-girlfriend, Erin Conroy, for unpaid...
Order. All rise. Your Honor, this is case 576 on the calendar in the matter of Estrada versus Conroy.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat.
Mr. Estrada, where did you meet Miss Conroy?
I met her on a dating website, Your Honor.
Which dating website?
It was an adult dating website.
And when did you meet her?
First contacted about 3 years ago, casually, just talking. And then we officially met about a year ago in February last year.
Okay, and you live where?
I currently live in San Gabriel Valley.
You had to think about that for a minute.
Well, I just moved because of this case.
From where?
From North Hollywood to West Covina.
Okay. And last year, in February, where were you living?
In Studio City.
And where was Miss Conroy living?
In Santa Barbara County, La Conchita.
Now where does she live?
I believe she's in Colorado. Don't know exactly where.
Did the two of you ever live together?
Yes.
From when to when?
From February until just recently, in February.
February 2015 to February 2016?
Yes.
And where did you live until February 2016?
We lived in a couple different places. When we first met, she moved in with me into my apartment where I had a roommate. My roommate was not happy with having a couple living there, so I got us another place where we lived together from July until February.
February what?
Of 2016.
I know February 2016, February 2nd, February 5th, February 15th.
Well, we were evicted, and I believe the eviction date was February 3rd of 2016.
Well, the eviction date may have been February 3rd, but that doesn't mean you moved out February 3rd. When did you move out?
We moved out on the 3rd, and then she stayed with me for a couple of weeks at my parents' house while we looked for a place.
A couple of weeks after February 3rd. Yes. So you stayed at your parents' house. Where is your parents' house?
West Covina.
So let's say you stayed at your parents' house a couple of weeks, 20 months, until February 24th. That would be 2 weeks. February 3rd,
no,
2 weeks?
She only stayed with me for about a week and a half before she left.
Okay, week and a half. So we're talking about...
the 17th, I would say.
February 17th.
Yes, ma'am.
Until she left. And tell me under what circumstances she left.
She confessed to me that she had sold herself to one of her Uber passengers, and that was in February.
While you were living at your parents' house?
Yes, actually, is what she told me.
But you had to think about that for a second.
Because I was away on business when she told me, and she had gone to my hotel to tell me in my hotel room.
She came to your hotel room where?
In San Bernardino County.
You think this is going to be easy? This is not going to be easy?
No, absolutely not.
You knew it wasn't going to be easy, right?
Yeah. It's in San Bernardino, where I was on business.
So she came to your hotel room to tell you that she had cheated on you with an Uber passenger because she's an Uber driver?
Yes, ma'am.
Is what your lawsuit is, so I'm going to handle it very, very expeditiously. You lived together as a couple, according to you, until about the 17th of February of this year. And when you say you lived together as a couple, I assume you stayed at your parents' house, sir. If I believe this whole story, you stayed at your parents' house. They gave you one room, so the two of you stayed in a room. At your parents' house for a week and a half?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And prior to that, when you lived in a place where you were evicted, and I assume you were evicted for?
Not paying rent.
Not paying rent. And you hadn't paid rent for a while. Because they don't evict you after 30 days. They evict you after a long time. Yeah. So now you're living in an apartment with her and living as a couple. And then you go to your parents' house and you're living as a couple, right? So you're suing her for rent.
No, ma'am.
Well, just a second. Money owed for unpaid rent, assault, and the cost of a computer.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're suing her for rent.
And the cost of the computer.
Just a second. Let's take the rent first.
Okay.
You're suing her for rent for...
Actually, ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's not actually for the rent. It was for money that I borrowed from a friend to pay back rent. We fell behind in rent If you like, I can explain more.
No.
Okay.
It's for old rent. And after she didn't pay the rent, you slept together, reconciled, right? I'm not interested in the rent. So now that we've gotten rid of rent, the next thing is
I'm not too sure of the exact date, Your Honor.
Well, if you're not sure the exact date, then Bird and I have other things to do today.
It was in October.
In October. And then you lived together in November.
Yes, ma'am.
And December. And January. And February. And canoodled. And played footsie. And kept each other nice and warm and comfy.
It's not the director, Your Honor. She lied to me a lot during this process.
I don't care. I don't care. 10 million people don't care. Bird doesn't care. It's called condonation, which means if she assaulted you and you forgave her by sleeping with her, we don't care. That's your problem. Somebody assaults me, I don't go back and canoodle. You chose to go back and canoodle, that would be your computer.
It was that day in October, Your Honor.
In October. Yeah. Now, after she broke your computer in October, you canoodled together October, November, December, January, February, at your parents' house. And maybe at this motel where she, whatever, I don't care. Did you bring up the computer?
Yes, Your Honor, I have.
Did you bring up the computer to her?
She promised to pay it back and to replace damages she did.
And she didn't. Now we're going to get to your counterclaim, which is for money owed for assault and harassment. And you say in your counterclaim that you had an argument with him, and during the course of the argument, he took your keys, you struggled over a bag that he was carrying. Is this all sounding familiar to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And during that struggle, he broke your finger.
That is correct.
What month was that?
That was October.
October. And who did you live with in November? Him.
With Patrick.
And December. And who'd you celebrate knew each other for about 3 weeks, if my math is correct. Maybe 4. Is that right?
Correct.
And look, you find yourself in court, annoying me. Well, I don't want to be annoyed anymore. I assume that you're happily not together anymore?
That's correct.
Wonderful. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I cheated on him, and then I told him all these horrible things to get him to break up with me, finally.
Well, after I proposed to her, she started to slowly unveil all these issues that she had.
He's upset that I broke up with him and won't get back together with him.
And when I finally realized what was going on, I put my foot down, and that's when all the drama started happening.
He's been very vengeful and upset.
And then finally, when she couldn't hold on to her lies anymore, she just kind of confessed it all.
His anger and violence?
Yeah, it's absolutely 100% unfounded.
I received a black eye.
Like most people who know me know that I'm not a violent person.
From being punched in the face, a broken finger.
I've never really acted out in anger. I was a violent, angry person.
I was afraid of him.
Again, like I said, she's projecting on who she is onto me.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Alaman versus Vasquez. Step forward.
Jesse Alleman is suing banquet hall owner Manny Vasquez for the cost of his wedding reception and the return of his deposit.
Mr. Alleman, this is not a difficult case. You were having wedding vows reception, and Mr. Vasquez has a venue where I assume it's just a hall and you bring in your own food and whatever entertainment and whatever decorations you like.
Yes.
He charges $500 for the venue, is that right?
Yes.
And you gave him a $300 security deposit.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's correct.
And the function was set for which date?
January 30th, 2016.
And the function took place.
Yes.
And there was an agreement in IUSTRAC, which neither of you dispute, that you could have alcohol inside the venue.
Yes.
You weren't allowed to have alcohol outside the venue.
Correct.
You claim that Mr. Vasquez was overzealous in ensuring that there was no alcohol and or drugs outside the venue.
Yes.
And so a lot of you guests didn't like that and they left.
No, that wasn't.
Well, that's what you said. They left.
After harassing them, yes.
Well, he says he wasn't harassing them. He says they were drinking out. This is your problem. You had the venue. You had your function. You don't get your $500 back.
The function didn't go as planned.
I don't care. It didn't go as planned and you didn't have a good time. That doesn't mean you get your money back. However, security deposit is for what purpose, Mr. Vasquez?
To maintain that the hall is in good condition.
Right.
And that no accidents or nothing befall anyone there, and that
whatever it is, it's so to make sure that you get your venue back in the same condition as when you rented it to him.
That is correct.
And nowhere in your answer do you say that he or his guests explain to me your theory about why he doesn't get his security back.
In the contract, ma'am, it says no alcohol should be outside of the venue.
What damage did you suffer? I want you to tell me, what damage did you suffer if it's true that some of his guests were drinking alcohol outside the venue? What damage did you suffer? Now, you have to say, the city gave me a fine. The city gave me a ticket. The city closed my venue. Did any of that happen?
No, ma'am.
Then you tell me the result of anybody at this reception drinking outside.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Ma'am, who am I?
You're somebody who wants to keep us $300 for no damage.
I'm the one that makes the rules. They broke the rules by taking alcohol outside.
That's what you say.
No, not what I said. I have my witness here to prove that.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jesse Allman is suing banquet hall owner Manny Vasquez for the cost of his wedding reception and the return of his deposit.
Now, you tell me, what damage did you suffer?
The only damage occurred was that they had broke the rule. Ma'am, in the contract it says that you violate these rules, you lose your deposit.
What I'm telling you is he's getting his deposit back. A deposit is to ensure that you get your property back. You can go like this all you like.
Why should I give him a deposit back, ma'am?
Because that's what we're doing here.
May I argue my...
You're not following me because
yes,
you're fixed you're fixed in your mind.
No, ma'am.
You're fixed in your mind.
No, ma'am.
Do you have any scientific tests to establish to my satisfaction that...
Drunk. They were drunk.
Show me a video. Show me a police report. Show me something other than you... Listen to me. Show me something other than you're saying to me they were drunk people outside. Show me anything.
Ma'am, who am I?
You're somebody who wants to keep us $300.
Ma'am.
For no damage.
I am the post commander. I am in charge of that hall. I'm the one that signs the venues. I'm the one that makes the rules.
I don't
care. And the rule of this whole thing is that they broke the rules by taking alcohol outside.
That's what you say.
Okay? No, not what I said. I have my witness here to prove that.
Just a second.
Come on up.
Tell me your name.
Patricia Vasquez.
So you're his wife?
Yes, I am.
Sit.
Okay.
Listen to me, Mr. Vasquez. Let me advise you what a security deposit is for. And I want you to put on your 2 listening ears, because God gave you 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason.
Yes, ma'am.
When you rent an apartment, you give the landlord a security deposit.
That is correct.
Quiet. A security deposit says, I will pay for any damage that I have done to your apartment while I'm living there. And I'm going to take this money, and if you break a window, if you break a door frame, it's going to come out of... Pay attention. I'm not finished yet. So says in the apartment, you're not to have any pets. Pay attention to what I'm saying to you, because you're going to find an analogy, Mr. Vasquez.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm not wasting another minute on this. I think we have sushi for lunch. I don't care if you didn't have a good time.
No, our venue only went 2 hours.
He didn't throw you out.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Not.
Oh.
A witness
Have
right
a
here.
witness.
Just a second.
Allman is suing banquet hall owner Manny Vasquez for the cost of his wedding reception and the return of his deposit.
Now, you rented the apartment. You have a $500 security deposit. And in violation of your lease, you had a dog. But the dog caused no damage. The dog was there, but the dog didn't scratch anything, break anything, piddle on anything. The dog caused no damage. You left, and the apartment was in the same condition as it was when you rented it. You would be entitled to your security deposit back, even though you broke the contract. I'm going to give you a different example that maybe you can understand. You see the analogy, Mr. Vasquez?
Ma'am, I do.
I'm not finished yet, Mr. Vasquez. Let's say you rented a car and you had a rental company took $1,000 off your car just in case you returned the car, because there wasn't supposed to be any smoking in the car. All children had to be in seat belts restrained in the back seat of the car. you know, all the rules that were in there, and you checked them off. And you returned the car. And when you returned the car, you were driving, and your wife was sitting in the front seat of the car, and on her lap, she's holding your 2 grandchildren. And the car rental place says to you, you're not getting your security deposit back because you wrote down here that children were supposed to be in the back of the car in their seatbelts. You say to them, I'm returning the car to you exactly in the exact same condition as when I rented it. Has an extra 100 miles on it, but other than that, it's clean, nobody smoked in it. You're getting back the exact same car. So I'm keeping you $1,000. Would that be wrong? That's what I'm telling you, Mr. Vasquez. If you could demonstrate to me that you suffered any damage other than somebody broke your rule by the fact that somebody either did or did not drink outside, he would lose his security deposit. But I read your answer, and your answer doesn't indicate any damage whatsoever to the venue. Anything that you spent in addition to any, the only thing you allege is his guests broke the rules and they drank outside. And I'm telling you, you have to return a security deposit. I'm not wasting another minute on this. I think we have sushi for lunch. We're done. He
Your
gets his
Honor?
$300 security deposit back. Put your hand down. I don't care if you didn't have a good time.
No,
Listen to
our
me.
venue only went 2 hours.
I don't care. He didn't throw you out.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Not.
Oh.
A witness
We have
right
a
here.
witness.
Just a second. Just a second.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You didn't indicate that to me or to him in your complaint that he threw you out. You said your guests left early. Oh, no?
No,
That's what you said here.
No, that's where a witness, he was one that was thrown out of the
Oh, he
place.
may have been thrown out. I don't care whether he was thrown out. If he says he was drinking outside and he said he had to leave, then he had to leave. You're not getting money back from him for your reception. I want you to understand that.
Okay, and how with the DJ? We paid there $400 to be, and he didn't.
He didn't do his...
He didn't. There's only 4 people on the dance floor after he had ramped off.
I don't care. You had your function. Listen to me, Mr. Allman. You may not have had a good time, and either there were people violating the rule, or so we have 2 hours worth of pictures for me to look at to see that there was nobody outside. You used the venue. You paid for the venue. You may not use it again.
No.
You may not use it again, but you're entitled to your security back, and he's not entitled to keep your security because you caused no damage to the property. No. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $300. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He showed up and was telling the guests they were drinking, which they had cranberry and punch in their hand, and he was stating it was liquor. He took the can out.
The truth is, I asked them for their cup. I grabbed, did not reach.
He started pouring stuff in his hand, saying, "Oh, that's liquor." They're saying, "I don't even drink liquor or beer."
The young lady gave it up. I smelled it. I know what vodka smells like.
He's swearing up and down it is. He told multiple people to leave.
And I know what juice smells like. And I know they were drinking.
So by the end of the night, everyone he told to leave had guests with them. So we ended up 12 to 13 people there.
We never saw them leave because after that, I told him we will discuss this on Sunday.
So from there, we couldn't tell the guests, hey, you know, you guys want to hang out? We just said our goodbyes, and everybody went home early.
The day after, we left. And I didn't know anybody left. Follow the rule. That's all I ask.
What body of water were you fishing on?
The Pacific Ocean.
Geography is not my thing, but the Pacific Ocean is a large body of water.
The open seas weren't big enough for them both.
He said you were breaking the rules.
Breaking the rules.
Getting too close to another boat.
But did shipmates go overboard with their response?
His crew member casted a very heavy lure like this.
It damaged the fiberglass of your boat.
Yes.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 24-year-old Eric Zellen is suing fellow boat owner Don Ashley for damage caused to his boat.
Order. All rise. It's case number 518 on the calendar in the matter of Zellen versus Ashley.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
I'm going to confess that I'm not a fisherman. So I read this with some interest because then you just have to sort of incorporate common sense if you're not an expert in the field of fishing. So this is what I understand of your fishing operation, commercial to the extent that you run a pleasure boat that takes people who like to fish out as a business. And those people pay you for a day of fishing. So far, correct?
Correct.
And you've been doing that for a long time. So you know the right places to fish. You've got it charted. You also bring what I think the right word is chum with you, so that you throw fish heads or whatever else fish like out in the water to attract the fish, so that the people, the 90 or so people who are fishing, have a great day for their $60.
Yes.
Right. Now, Mr. Zellen has a little tiny fishing boat, and he was out fishing with some friends. Now, you don't have to be a cockeyed wonder or a genius to say, you know what? I don't know as much about fishing as Mr. Ashley, so I'm going to sort of tag along to where that fishing boat goes. Of course, you see, these are your two deckhands, right? Or they work for you, and they're shaking their head yes. So you may be very stoic. They're not as stoic as you are. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Because I'm a common sense gal. So they say, you know what? We're going to hang around that fishing boat, because if we hang around the fishing boat, they got the chum, they know where the good fishing is, and you people who are sort of hanging around your fishing boat. Would that be a fair statement, sir?
That is more than fair.
And these little gnats that are hanging around your terrain that you have charted, that is your business, which you're spending money to put out food and whatever to attract the fish, these people are an annoyance. So your claim, Mr. Zellen, is that on a particular date, which was what date?
It was June 12th.
That you were out fishing and Mr. Ashley purposefully...
Well, Mr. Ashley wasn't actually in...
But, I don't know, Mr. Ashley's company, people who work for him, who were on the boat, purposely damaged your fishing boat. That's your allegation. And Mr. Ashley, in his answer, makes an overall denial that he did that, or anyone acting on his behalf did it. But in any event, he said, you were breaking the rules.
Breaking the rules?
Breaking the rules. I think that that's what I read here. There are rules to follow when out on the water, and the plaintiff broke a big one. Would you tell me what the big one was, Mr. Ashley?
Getting too close to another boat.
Okay. You're out in your boat. When did you purchase your boat?
3/8/2015.
And how many people did you take out on the 12th of June to fish?
It was me and Andrew.
And what size boat?
The Pacific Ocean.
Also, geography is not my thing, but the Pacific Ocean is a large body of water.
Yes.
And how many boats did you see in the vicinity of your boat when it came into contact with Mr. Ashley's boat?
There was at least 200 plus within a quarter-mile radius.
How many were
I
as
actually
close?
have photos if you'd like to see.
I would. I absolutely would.
So these were photos taken right after. All those little black dots are a mixture of private boats and commercial boats like his.
Well, I see all of those boats. They look far away. I want to know how close you were to Mr. Ashley's boat.
Mr. Ashley's boat, we got in between. We were all traveling, and we actually got pushed closer by another larger boat. And the closest point was...
When you say you got pushed closer?
There's a boat coming from our left, and he was traveling on our right. And everyone, they were traveling like this.
Not everyone. How many boats other than you were next to Mr. Ashley's boat?
Probably between 6 and 12.
Who was the closest?
The closest, from my point of view, is him, me, and then there's another larger vessel to my left.
So you were the closest?
On that side of the boat, yes.
And tell me what happened.
By this other boat to not get run over by a larger boat. And I'm trying to get through, and his captain leaned out of the window and pointed at us and screamed some vulgar language and said, hit that boat, and repeated it. Then his crew member that was on the back deck came down. Sorry, I'm like really, it makes me uncomfortable. It really works me up. His crew member jumped down and casted a very heavy lure like this. I brought this so that you could actually feel what it is.
Just a minute. So is the person who shouted out, get that boat, in court today?
Yes.
Which person is that?
He's right here.
The one with the beard?
Yes.
The wise guy? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And did you see the person who threw the lure?
I don't recognize him.
As a person being here?
No.
Okay. And when that lure was thrown, it damaged the fiberglass of your boat?
Yes.
Okay. Were you on board that day?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so you have no first-hand information.
No, I don't.
You would agree, Mr. Ashley, as the owner of the boat, that if I believe that your captain leaned out and said, hit that blank boat, and repeated it twice, and immediately thereafter one of your crew members threw something at his boat.
I would believe that.
Great. Okay, and you weren't there. So now you can stand up because you were there. Your last name is?
Surratt.
Tell me about June 12th.
All right. So I'm the captain of the Enterprise, which we have some pictures if you want to see them.
I don't have to see them at all.
That's good.
We understand what it's all about.
Okay.
The only question is, for me, you've already acknowledged that boats like Mr. Zellen's are an annoyance because they hang around their little boats, and you guys are in business. The larger fishing boats are in commercial business to make money, and these little boats are really trampling on the turf that you've sort of set out. And they can be annoying because if there are so many boats in the water, there are a lot of boats in the water, and this one got particularly close. Go.
Okay. June 12th. I got a phone call from Donnie Ashley. Said, a guy just called me, screaming and yelling, said you threw something at his boat. I thought he was kidding. Had no idea what he was talking about. Had a lot of people on the boat that day, 72 or 74 people. I continued working. Again, not thinking anything of it.
So nothing happened?
I never heard a word from another boat.
Just a second. All I'm asking you is...
No.
All I'm asking you is that, as far as you know, everything that the plaintiff just said to me was untrue, because that never happened.
I never said anything, if that's what
You never said anything?
Yeah, that I never said.
You never said anything? Okay, tell me your last name.
Mejia?
Mr. Mejia, you were the passenger.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to tell me what happened on June 12th?
Basically, we went out yellowtail fishing on a very popular spot. Just from what I'm hearing, my understanding of it is that...
Don't tell me what your understanding was. I just want to know what you saw, smelled, tasted, or heard.
Right. So I was on the back right-hand side of the boat, probably about 3 feet away from the motor that was damaged. And we were, you know, kind of close and all, but what happened was basically one of those fishing jigs. We heard screaming and exactly what he had said. And
No, no. I want you to tell me what you heard, saw, not exactly what he said.
Right. I heard the captain lean out, and then he hit that boat twice, and then one of the deckhands jumped down from the bait tank and grabbed I believe it was the second one that actually hit us. We just got out of the way at that point.
Okay. The boat was maneuverable.
Yes.
Can I see a photograph of the damage?
I've got before and after photos.
What else did you want to tell me?
I just wanted to... I have a police report here from the Orange County Sheriff's Department report.
May I see it?
80 yards from where I was, 80 yards. Now, if I could lean out a window and yell 80 yards, well, there's no way, it's impossible that he could have heard me. I never said it to begin with, but it's impossible.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I have to determine whether your captain, who can't keep a smirk off his face, or these two people that had damage to their boat made up a story. And I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Ashley. I don't believe that, and neither do you.
And later today...
The man came with an assistant. He provided food for 150 people at a nominal price. He set up, he broke down, and he's not going to get paid half. It's not going to happen. Don't use him again.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Eric Zellen says boat captain Andrew Surratt damaged his boat. Andrew denies the charge.
Mr. Zellen, this boat is 26 years old. How much did you pay for it?
Well, the boat I bought separate from the motor. The motor's what actually got damaged. The motor I paid $9,100 and...
Was that a picture of the motor that you showed me?
Yeah, that's the motor. That's actually the motor, the cowling, the cover.
Is that what is the cover to the motor?
Yes.
It's not the motor, it's the cover to the motor.
Yes.
Okay, do you have an estimate for the cover for the motor? You have an estimate for $1,382?
That's just for the part, and then after that it would have to be painted and the decals and everything replaced.
He says shipping to the customer for replacement. Customer will replace the cover himself at his own labor. $13.82. Okay, let me tell you why, Mr. Ashley, I absolutely believe the plaintiff. He's not a nut. He reported this incident immediately, came back to 2 authorities. There's no question that there was damage done to the cover of the motor. So I have to believe that he set up a scenario to go back and report to immediately, according to the report that your captain just gave me, on the day of the incident, to the United States Coast Guard, which would be a felony if he reported an incident that didn't happen, and the Orange County Sheriff, both of which would be felonies if he reported an incident that didn't happen. And he reported it on the same date, immediately thereafter. He went and reported to 2 authorities that somebody vandalized his boat. So I have to determine whether your captain, who can't keep the smirk off his face, or these 2 people that had damage to their boat, made up a story in order to extract $1,382 from you. And I'm going to do you. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $13.82. We're done.
Please excuse you, may step out.
I didn't feel like we were anywhere outside of our comfort zone.
If you're not smart enough to realize you're driving next to 50 to 70 people on a boat throwing lures around, you probably shouldn't be out there to begin with.
Watch out for the big guys. They're not going to watch out for you.
If you're close enough that they can cast either boat, you're too close.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Wilkinson versus Davis. Step forward.
Danita Wilkinson is suing Michael Davis for the return of half his fee for a catering job. Danita says Michael did not deliver what he promised.
Miss Wilkinson, you hired the defendant as the caterer for a family event that involved Mr. Davis catering 3 meals for how many people?
Approximately 50 people.
Over 3 different days?
2 different days.
2 days.
So you were doing lunch?
I did a breakfast, then I did a cookout, and then I did a dinner on Sunday.
How much did you pay him?
Your Honor, we paid him over $2,500.
And it is your claim, which is why you're here, that you were dissatisfied with the service. Your guests did, in fact, attend the breakfast and the 2 dinners, but it was not what you claim he was supposed to have provided. It was inadequate, and you want half your money back.
Correct.
It happens if you hire a caterer, and if you're dissatisfied with the caterer, you don't use them again. You don't recommend them to other people, but you don't get your money back because your guests did eat. They may not have eaten as much as they liked. They may not have eaten exactly what you wanted, but they did have breakfast, I assume.
Yes, ma'am.
And they did have dinner. And so you have 150 meals. It comes out to about $16 a meal per person. Now, did Mr. Davis also provide the staff to bring in the food, break it down, set it up?
He brought 1 person with him.
Who set up the food?
Mr. Davis did.
With the person?
Yes.
And who took it down when it was finished?
Mr. Davis did, and his assistant.
So he provided the staff and the food. Who provided the silverware, the plates, and all of the other things? Who provided that?
Mr. Davis did, as he promised in the contract.
Just a second. So let me understand this. He prepared 150 meals. He provided the staff. He provided the linen. He provided the china. He provided the breakdown. And he provided the setup. And he did all of this for $16 a person. And he paid out of that the assistant. Is that what you're telling me? And you want half.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you had said to him, I'm going to Mickey D's and getting for breakfast 50 Egg McMuffins because I don't like what you prepared, I would say you're entitled to your money back. But you accepted it and now are suing him for money. And it doesn't work that way.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Danita Wilkinson says caterer Michael Davis owes for the return of half his fee.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to tell me why you think I'm wrong before I hear any more.
Judge Judy, my family raised $2,500 to pay for the caterer for our annual family reunion.
Nice. Good.
Mr. Davis promised us home-cooked prepared meals with enough food for everyone that was in attendance. That did not occur because Mr. Davis did not provide most of the food items that we discussed on the menu during our conference calls and on our final conference call. Most of the food was not prepared in the manner in which he said. They were store-bought items. And third, most of the food that we brought with us was not enough to feed the people that were there. So a lot of people did not get all of the food items that he was supposed to have brought. We didn't get hot dogs, which were promised on the last conference call. We did not get...
You have a written contract with him?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see the written contract. All it does is say you're going to provide for a family reunion, what the total amount is, what the dates of the event are, 8/7 and 8/9, and what the payment is. That's all it says.
Yes, ma'am.
This is unsigned. Okay, I got it. I'm listening.
He served us fruit cocktail out of the can instead of fresh fruit salad, as we discussed on our last conference call. We asked for 2 turkeys to be deep fried on the premises. The turkeys were already bought pre-cooked in the oven.
Ms. Wilkerson, you're not getting any money back. Don't recommend him again and don't use him again. But you want a $10,000 caterer for $2,500 for 150 people. It's not going to happen.
50 people.
No, 150 people. If you serve 150 meals, it's like 150 people. And you want what you want, fresh fruit salad, turkeys cooked in deep fryers, all home cooked, and you want that all for $150, put it in your contract. It's not there. If you're not satisfied with the caterer, believe me, I've been to parties and I've made parties where caterer was just okay. But if I made a price, I paid them, and then I didn't use them again. And that's what you have to do. The idea is the man came with an assistant, he provided price, he set up, he broke down, and he's not going to get paid half. It's not going to happen.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, your recourse is not to say, I ate the steak, but now I want my money back. Now, if you said to him, take it away, I'm going to bring food in from the local pizzeria because I don't like canned fruit cocktail, I only want fresh, and I only want turkey that is prepared a certain way. I don't want any of your food. Take it all away. It's not what we agreed on. Then I would say, well, you got maybe a legitimate case. But you ate the food, and then you said, I want my money back. And that you can't do. If you had said to him, take your one in health and leave, and my family will be very happy. I'm going to Mickey D's and getting for breakfast 50 Egg McMuffins, and that's what they'll have. And I'm going to order pizzas and giant subs for dinner because I don't like what you prepared. I would say you're entitled to your money back. You didn't feel as if you were getting what you bargained for, and you rejected it. But you accepted it, and now are suing him for money. And it doesn't work that way in my America. Your case is dismissed. Goodbye.
And on the next Judge Judy.
It was a damper on the reunion because the food was supposed to be on point, and it was not.
They didn't have no control of their family and the family union.
Caterer screwed up.
They rushed to the table like they never ate food in their life.
We should cook our own food from now on.
I just put it behind me. I've been doing it for everybody else, so I don't worry about what she said today.
I seen my cousin going down 9th Street. Told my cousin, let me holler at you for a second.
A war of words between family members.
He hollering, yelling, saying, I'm coming to serve.
That means fight you.
Basically, yes.
Now, his mother and the judge have the same issue.
Do you understand his language, or does he talk this way to you at home?
That's his lingo.
I don't understand your lingo. So now we're going to talk to me like the old Jewish lady I am.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinlin. This is Judge Judy.
William Moss is suing his cousin, Bobby Brown, for vandalizing his car when he came to his home looking for a fight.
Order. All rise. Found in the matter of Moss versus Brown.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Mr. Moss, Mr. Brown is a cousin of yours?
First cousin.
So is he your mother's sister's son?
Mother's brother's son.
There was an incident that you described that happened about 1.5 years ago.
August 5th last year.
And this all emanates from that incident. Is your claim that at that time Mr. Brown vandalized your car? Well, there's a lot more to that story, which I think is important to get to. Mr. Brown has a cross-claim for, among other things, harassment. This incident on August 25th, 1.5 years ago, you did some jail time, is that right?
Correct.
So I want you to just go back. So that case is all over. So you can tell me generally what happened on that day.
Well, that morning, I'm coming down the street and on my way to the house.
Whose house?
My mom's house, to drop off some tools.
Is that where you were living?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
And on top of that, I seen my cousin going down 9th Street, walking with his family and friends. And I told my cousin, let me holler at you for a second. You know,
Let me holler at you for a second?
Basically, let me talk to you for a second. So he said, no, it's all bad. I don't want to talk to you.
What had been the problem?
The problem was that I was dating his
girlfriend's best friend, and
she took it upon herself to speak on my past history of whatever.
His girlfriend?
Yeah, his girlfriend.
Okay. So you were dating his girlfriend's friend.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend told your girlfriend about things that...
Past that didn't have nothing to do with nothing.
Well, she might have wanted to protect her from you.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
His girlfriend, she's messy. She's drama. To the point where she want to get stuff started, or she likes to talk about people.
Well, she was talking to her friend about you.
Yeah.
A guy that she was dating that maybe she felt was inappropriate. Okay, so on August 25th, you wanted to talk to your cousin about his girlfriend.
No, just talk to him.
About what?
About the little situation. Can we squash this? Can we just end all this little bickering? And he gave me the reply of no.
Fine. So he didn't want to talk to you, and?
Exactly. So before I pulled off from the scene...
Could you talk in English? Could you talk in English so that I can understand that? You have to understand.
All right, before I left the street...
Just a second. I'm a 73-year-old person who was raised in this country, who got a reasonable public school education, and I don't understand your lingo.
Okay, it's
Do you understand? So I want you to behave as if you're talking, but as if you're talking... Who is this?
What?
Do you understand his language, or does he talk this way to you at home?
That's his lingo.
He knows better. I could see he knows better.
He knows.
Okay, so now we're going to talk to me like the old Jewish lady I am. Do you understand?
Gotcha.
Very good. Stand up on your own 2 feet, take your hands off the table, and tell me August 25th.
August 25th.
You didn't want to go holler at him, if that's what you said.
I wanted to go talk to him.
You wanted to go and talk to him. And?
He told me no.
Good. See? Look. He could go and apply for a job as a CEO in a company if he wanted to. Wants to stay in the gutter, that's his problem. Keep going.
So he said no. I put my hands out the window with $18,000 in cold hard cash. I said, come talk to me.
Just a second.
When you get a chance to.
From where walking down the street to you put your hands out the window with $18,000 in cash. There's a big transition there.
That's a big transition.
All right, so he passed you, you went to your mother's house.
Yeah. Yes.
And, see, he's not stupid. Look how smart he is.
He's intelligent.
Oh, yeah, he's very intelligent. And you went inside, and what did you do when you got into the house?
I'm taking my tools out the trunk, work on cars.
Well, what's $18,000 in cold hard cash?
Because I left, I was going to give him $500 because he's family. That's what he didn't understand when I told him, let me talk to you. But he wanted to get arrogant and say no. So I said, get your head up out your, you know what I mean? And come talk to me. When you get a chance, I'll be at my mother's house. So he took it upon himself within like 15 to 10 minutes to bypass his job, cross 2 more streets to come to my residence with 2 other people, his girlfriend and his daughter, and 2 pit bulls. That's 7 objects coming to my residence. And what took place...
To your mother's house?
Yeah, to my mother's house. And what took place was a fight.
How old is Mr. Brown's daughter?
I don't even know.
Is she 7 or 17?
I want to say under 7.
She's 5. She was 5 at the time.
She was 5. So he came to your mother's house with his 5-year-old daughter, 2 dogs, and 2 other people.
Yes.
Were the 2 other people men or women?
Men.
And was he walking with his daughter in a carriage or holding her by the hand?
His girl was walking her.
This one?
That one.
Okay. So he also had his girlfriend? Okay. So now they're at your house.
They're at my house. He hollering, yelling, saying, I'm going to come fight you. In a different lingo, he's going to say, I'm coming to serve you.
Coming to what?
Serve you.
Serve you.
Serve you too.
That means fight you.
Basically, yes.
I'm going to bring you lemonade, or does that mean I'm going to fight you?
He was trying to bring me some lemonade. He was trying to bring me some lemonade and couldn't succeed. That's what he tried.
Country's gone. Gone.
So him, Bobby, and his 2 assailants that he came with, they tried to jump me. It wasn't successful.
How did they try to jump you?
They tried to surround me.
Okay, so they tried to surround you, and they weren't successful.
They wasn't
because you dodged them.
Dodged them, and still.
I'm just trying to follow this nonsense story. Come on, let's go. So the two other assailants, and while they're trying to surround you, and you're bobbing and weaving out of there, and the girlfriend is holding the 5-year-old, who's holding the 2 dogs?
They was off the leash.
They were off leash?
Off leash.
Oh, but they weren't bothering you?
The dogs wasn't bothering me. They was puppies.
Just a second. So they were 2 puppies?
I say 6 to 8. That's a puppy. But it's still big for a pit bull.
6 to 8 months?
Yeah.
Okay. And they were off the leash?
Mm-hmm.
Fine. And then what happened?
We all started fighting.
All of you?
All 3 of us.
The 2 guys?
2 guys and my cousin right here.
Okay. So you were all fighting?
All fighting.
And then?
And then,
Don't look down now. You've been so good with the eye contact. You've been so good with the eye contact so far. I'm still trying to figure out what got you in a jail cell.
That he brought took a Tech 9 out.
Took a gun out?
Yes. A semi-automatic machine gun with a 30-round clip on it. And I got the blame for it. I go to jail for it.
Just a minute. So somebody else took out a gun.
And I get the blame.
And you not got the blame.
I got the blame.
You took the blame because you pled guilty.
Had to. I want to be home for Christmas for my daughter. That's the reason why I took that deal. Hey, you can laugh all you want. My kid is more important.
How many times had you been in jail?
Me?
Me, Bird. How many times have you been in jail?
Out of 18 till now, I'm about to be 31 in 2 months. Probably about a good 8, 9 times.
Okay. For what?
Multiple assaults and batteries. Never no armed weapons. Never no ammo. Just all assault and batteries.
Just a second. Multiple assaults and battery.
Yeah.
And how much time did you spend in jail after this August incident?
Only 4 months.
And what'd you take a plea to?
Ammo and 2 counts of assault and battery.
Having ammunition?
It was a bullet found in my trunk from the gun.
Just a second. Ammunition and assault and battery, 2 counts. Who were the 2 counts of assault and battery on?
Him and his girl.
And stand up. Tell me your last name.
Parrish.
Miss Parrish.
Was sucker punched in the side of the head. I was probably standing way over there, and they were probably about where you are. And Will ran and sucker punched me while I was standing next to my daughter. And I got hit there, and I fell and slid on the ground. I have scars on my elbow and my knee from this.
Okay. Sit. And were you injured?
Yes, ma'am.
Where?
He hit me over the head with a pipe. And he hit me with the gun. The gun that the other guys had.
Now, how big is this gun?
I never seen it.
Go like this.
I never seen it.
Well,
I just seen a picture of it. So if I seen the
just
picture,
a second. You just told me that one of them took out a gun.
Yeah.
Well, if one of them took out a gun...
I can't tell you what size it is. I'm not a gun fanatic. I
don't want you to be a gun fanatic. I want you to show me with your hands how big the gun was.
Well, if I estimate it, I'd probably say about like this.
Like about 12 inches long?
Yeah.
And where did the guy take it out from?
From his waistband. Right here, tucked over a long white T-shirt.
Okay, so this 12-inch gun was tucked down his pants in the front.
With a strap on it. A white string.
With a white string. It's getting better all the time.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So the police opened your locked trunk and found the firearm there.
Because the 2 assailants that he brought took my car keys. And they the ones that threw the gun in the trunk. And ran off with my keys.
Yeah.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
William Moss says his cousin, Bobby Brown, smashed his car with a pipe during a fight. Bobby is countersuing for harassment.
Okay. Now we'll get to what the lawsuit is about. You ran inside at some point, is that right?
No, I didn't run inside. I was pushed inside by my neighbor.
Now, where were you injured?
Where was I injured? Yeah. Scratches all over body. Bruises.
Scratches.
That's it. Nothing here. Just all over the body.
Scratches.
Yeah.
You have any photographs of those?
No, the police never took them.
Okay.
I went straight to jail after that.
Fine. And now you're inside, and tell me what you saw, because now we're getting to what the case is about. You're inside, and...
Bobby goes in my trunk, grab...
That's Bobby.
Yes, ma'am.
Bobby goes in my trunk, which the trunk was already open. From me pulling tools out, he grabbed the jack bar that's in the trunk, bashed my windows, which I do have pictures for you, evidence to show you. And he bashed about 6 windows, 7 windows.
Not, I don't think he's going to deny that he bashed your windows.
I know he ain't going to deny it because he...
I don't think he's going to deny that the windows in your car got bashed. You don't deny that the windows in his car got bashed.
Yeah, they got bashed, but it wasn't by me.
Who bashed his windows?
He did himself. He trying to swing and hit me with the pole. Passenger side window. We started tugging over the pipe that he had. His mother then came outside and tried to break us up, so I stepped back because that's my dad's sister. He reached over, he hit me with the head of the pipe, and then through the pipe, and it hit the window. That's when he took off running and hit my wife.
Is she your wife?
Common law, yes, ma'am.
Is she your wife?
Not wife, no, but girlfriend, 13 years.
You don't believe in marriage?
You
just said it so nice.
It complicates everything.
It doesn't complicate it for her.
I understand that, ma'am.
Okay. Now I'd like you to tell me about your counterclaim.
Well...
Oh, before I get to your counterclaim.
Yes, ma'am.
So you pled guilty, 1 count of having ammunition, and 2 counts of assault, and was sentenced to 4 months?
Yes.
Well, was it 4 months, or were you let out after 4 months?
8 months for half, total of 4.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, my counterclaim is for, he sent the police to my job on 2 separate occasions.
When?
I work at an elementary school.
When?
In January.
In January?
Yes, ma'am. He
Okay.
sent police.
And police came.
Police came and told me that...
You can't tell me what the police told you.
The police came and said William Moss...
Listen to me. You can't claim unless you have a police report. Do you have a police report?
Not on that situation. When he went to jail for, I do, but not from when they came to...
But he said, I'll look at a police report, but I can't listen to what you told me that the police told you in January.
Uh-huh.
What else do you have?
Well, my daughter witnessed the whole situation with him pulling the gun out on me, him hitting me with the gun, him hitting me with the pipe. My daughter witnessed all this, him hitting my wife blindsided while she was standing next to my daughter. She has nightmares now. We have to go through family counseling through the school where she goes through the Lincoln Center.
What did you go to his house for?
As I'm walking to the job, I'm walking to work with my daughter and my wife because I get on clock around 11. My daughter has to be there at 11 if she wants to eat lunch. We see him driving up. He pulls up and he tells me, come here, let's talk. I told him, no, I don't want to talk. I have to take my daughter to school. He then, I guess it hurt his feelings for some reason. He started cussing at me, you were this. I got rags showing money. I ignored it. I continued to walk to the schoolhouse. As I'm walking, he hits a U-turn and comes around the other street and stops at the stop sign and slowly drives next to us. Oh, I'm gonna whoop you this, you're this, you're this. My girlfriend then calls his mother. She didn't answer. So I took it upon myself to walk to his mother's house so I can let her know what's going on with the situation because she already knows about the situation.
Just a second. That was foolish.
Mom already knows about the situation.
Don't tell me what his mother knows.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Love what your mother said. She told you to stay in the house.
I did.
No. She told you, stay in the house. Don't go out there. They're just words. That's what your mother... Just a second. See? That's what your mother said.
True.
You should always listen to your mother.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
William Moss says cousin Bobby Brown smashed his car with a pipe.
Now, you have somebody who's out of control, clearly, based if I believe what you say, clearly somebody that's out of control.
Yes, ma'am.
You're with a 5-year-old.
Yes, ma'am.
And your girlfriend.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've been cursed at twice. You know that he's made a U-turn, according to you, to come back and start with you again. So instead of letting it go, you and your daughter, who you had to get...
I walked off by myself. I walked off by myself. My girlfriend and my daughter followed behind me while they were on the phone with the police. By the time I get to the...
Listen, the whole thing could have been accomplished without you walking back to her house.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, where'd you get the other 2 people from?
They were not with me.
Who were they?
His old friends that he used to hang out with.
Anybody have a police report with regard to that incident on the 25th?
Sure do. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Want to report first?
So the police opened your locked trunk and found the firearm there?
Yes, they found the firearm because the 2 assailants that he brought took my car keys. And they the ones that threw the gun in the trunk, and then they took off. That's why in the police report, the police couldn't even get a statement from
Just a second. They locked A gun in your trunk.
It ran off with my key.
Yeah.
As you see, I got the original police report right here.
I'd like to see it.
You sure can. The original.
Thank you. I have the same report. I'm reading the same report.
Yeah, I want to point out on that highlighted page that you're reading, his girlfriend said she was the first one to call the police.
I'm more interested in what your mother said. Your mother doesn't lie, does she?
No, she don't.
Yeah. I love what your mother said. She told you to stay in the house.
I did.
No. She told you, stay in the house. Don't go out there. They're just words. If he's starting up with you, don't go out there. That's what your mother... Just a second, listen to your mother.
Always.
And you went outside, and according to your mother, that was the quote, that you said to him, all right, game on. That's what she told the police. You said.
Like he wants
She's
to
telling
game
me
on.
What?
I said he wanted his game on.
Oh, okay, good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, you went to jail.
Yes, ma'am.
And you got injured.
Yes, ma'am.
I
have
your girlfriend,
pictures.
just a second, and your girlfriend got injured, and it all could have been avoided if you didn't go to her house. Your windows wouldn't have gotten broken if you didn't go outside.
My windows
So
wouldn't have
I'm
got
saying
broken.
to you, goodbye.
Okay.
And let me tell you about your counterclaim. Goodbye.
It's all good.
Goodbye. When you behave like babies, you get punished like babies. And if he's making it difficult for you now, he spent time in jail. He probably started the whole thing because he was upset. Somebody called Child Protective Services? Who
Thought
did?
it was me.
He did.
Which was her best friend.
I have proof where he even says that he...
Oh, be quiet. But her school and called the police from there and not followed him.
I was down the street, though. I was like a block away.
You were a block away. He ran up a block to hit you
From
in the
like
head.
right there all the way
Goodbye,
over
folks.
there.
I'm
All
done
right,
with
that's fine.
all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why is so much bad blood? Because I got jealousy in my family.
I'm happy with it. I'm fine. You know, it's time to move on.
Once you a person like me, you can get some money like me, you gonna hate on me regardless.
He's a 30-year-old kid who still lives in the upstairs room in his mom's house, you know. He just needs to grow up.
They had the gun. They threw it in the trunk as you heard what I said in the courtroom.
Try to put the blame on some other 16-year-old kids.
You stay where you at. He at the bottom of the map. I'm on the food chain.
He go about his way, I go about my way.
You were going to be incarcerated.
I violated probation.
Legal and money troubles took their toll.
Did you return to jail at any time after?
Yes, I did.
Your house was in foreclosure for non-payment of the mortgage.
That's correct.
But is her house sitter the problem?
iPhone 6, I left in her care.
I had her children. They also have iPhone 6s.
They have iPhone 6s and they can't afford to pay their mortgage? How does that happen?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judy.
Rochelle Marvel is suing her former tenant and friend, Heather Parent, for rent, stolen and damaged property, and unauthorized credit card charges.
Order. All rise. This is case number 595 on the calendar in the matter of Marvel versus Parent.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Marvel, how long do you know the defendant?
I met the defendant in the spring of 2015 in outpatient treatment for chemical dependency. So I had not known her that long before we entered into a lease.
Okay. Now, there came a time after you met her that you were going to be incarcerated.
That's correct.
When?
I served my initial sentence for my DWI in April.
April of 2015.
That's correct. And that was to be for 30 days, and I was in there during April for about 2 weeks, 15 days.
And then what happened?
Then what happened is I went back to treatment, outpatient treatment. We continued our dialogue, and during that time, we had talked about our...
Oh, you went back to jail is what I'm talking about.
Yes, in May.
For what?
I violated probation. So I went to meet with my probation officer. I told them that I'd been drinking, and I was taken into custody.
For how long were you incarcerated in
I
May?
was there, that was for 4 days.
You were out for 2 days.
Yes.
Did you return to jail at any time after?
Yes, I did. Within
When?
2 days, I violated, and with the intention of going in to execute.
You violated again and you went back to jail?
Yes.
For how long?
Until October 24th.
Now, sometime during all of this back and forth, you had made an arrangement with Miss Parent, first to cat sit for your cats, and then at some point when you realized that you were going to do a longer stretch in jail, according to you, you entered into a formal lease arrangement with her.
We had been talking about an agreement before the cat sitting ordeal with the May arrest where I was taken into custody. Prior to that, my house was in foreclosure. I had been communicating with other individuals to seek out a renter, and at that time, before I had communications...
Just a second, Miss Marvel. Okay. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, please. Your house was in foreclosure for non-payment of the mortgage.
That's correct.
How long had you not paid the mortgage?
Since that prior August 2014.
So you were not paying mortgage at all?
That's correct.
Was the house subsequently sold? You don't know. Are you still in the house?
I'm still in the house.
And still not paying the mortgage?
That's correct.
Want to tell me why?
I'm currently unemployed and looking for a family or a boyfriend.
Okay. Now, this is what you want. During the time that you were incarcerated, you have cats. How many cats do you have?
2.
And certainly somebody had to care for them during the time that you were in jail.
That's correct.
At some point, Miss Parent moved into your house and at some point agreed, according to you and according to her, agreed to pay you rent. Now, your request is for money owed for stolen and damaged property, unauthorized charges on your credit card, and rent.
And utilities that were unpaid utilities while she was in the home.
How many months did you live in the house?
From around June 24th, 2015 to 1/17/19.
The 19th.
So you lived there for about 6 months?
Correct.
Where had you lived before?
I had a home, a 4,000 square foot home in Chaska.
And what did you do with that home?
They were getting ready to sell, and I was at the end
So
of my
you
lease
rented
term.
that. Just a minute. So you rented that home?
Yes, I did.
And that home was being sold?
Yep.
So that you needed a place to stay?
Correct.
Okay. And you were paying rent on this house?
Absolutely.
Good. How much rent were you paying on the prior house?
$2,100 a month.
Who else lived there with you?
My children.
How many?
4.
How old are they?
At that time, 21, 16, 11, and 5.
And you were current on your rent?
Yes.
Fine. So you moved into her house and you were going to watch her 2 cats. We'll forget about house being in foreclosure for a moment. You were going to pay her $1,000 a month rent, which was half of what you were paying before. That's what you actually acknowledge in your answer.
I acknowledge that I signed the lease 2 months after she incarcerated the 3rd time, but that was not the original agreement.
I don't care whether it was the original agreement. At some point, you signed a lease for $1,000.
To avoid foreclosure, her house the sheriff's sale had come up, and she thought if a tenant was living there, that it would avoid the sheriff's sale.
The sheriff's sale was originally scheduled in April, and actually had been talking to the mortgage company based on getting in a renter. I had somebody else in mind, and they agreed to hold off on the sheriff's sale pending a lease agreement.
Let me explain something to you, Miss Marvel. I'm not dealing with your rent with her. So let's get on to the other parts of your claim. You understand? Stolen and damaged property. What do you allege she stole and what do you allege she damaged?
iPhone 6 I left in her care.
An iPhone 6. Yep. Do you have that?
I do not.
Where is it?
The only time that I can recall that she had the iPhone 6 was the day that I had her children. She was going to a probation meeting, and I had her daughters with. They also have iPhone 6s. There was one.
They have iPhone 6s and they can't afford to pay their mortgage?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
I don't know how that happens.
Well, it was sitting on the counter after I found out that she was going to be arrested again. I called her ex-husband.
But you're telling me you don't know where the iPhone 6 is?
Well, the last time I recall seeing any iPhone 6 was on the counter that her ex-husband picked up and took.
She doesn't know where the iPhone 6 is. What's next?
Xbox 360.
Xbox.
No, nothing about it. Never saw one.
How many children do you have?
2.
How old are they?
11 and 8.
And you have an ex-husband?
Yes.
Where are the children now?
They're staying with their father.
What's next?
Social Security cards for both of my daughters, mine, my driver's license, unauthorized charges on my bank and credit cards.
Let's deal with the credit card.
Luminous airbrush, makeup sprayer, music CDs.
Now the only thing I'm interested in is unauthorized charges on your credit card. Why did you give her a credit card?
For the sole purpose of stopping services on my bank and credit cards while I was incarcerated because I had 0 income coming in.
Okay. I want you to indicate on your bills what you are alleging she spent while you were incarcerated.
Okay. Holiday store in Bloomington.
No, No, show me.
Oh, sure.
Don't give me a whole bunch of stuff. Just show me what you allege she charged while you were incarcerated.
Top 2 pages, items are circled, 4 of them.
You've circled the items that you say are unauthorized?
Yes.
All right, so we're talking about $20 purchase at Super America and another $20 purchase at Super America. Everything else are all your purchases. Is that what you are telling me?
That's correct.
Do you know about these purchases?
Yes, I do.
What are they?
They were gas because I currently lived in Chaska at the time when she first was incarcerated and needed somebody to drive back and forth at the
For
time.
what? What did she
To
need?
take care of her cats daily.
Oh, so you were
So
driving back and forth to take care of her
yes,
cats?
I didn't live there at the time. And
Yeah, but you have 2 gas charges the
That's
same
right.
day on June 1st.
That's right. She authorized for gas.
No, I did not. I did not
No,
authorize.
don't speak. No. You have, as a matter of fact, $20 on May 29th and $20 on June 1st and another $20 on June 1st.
The only reason is because the gas gauge doesn't work, and so you don't know exactly how much, and my daughter was driving. I didn't want her to run out of gas. It's
$60 so far, Miss Marvel. That's what I have. What else?
Okay, so the $100.
No, $60. Go ahead.
Okay. Then we have stolen items, a total of $8,200 in total.
No. She doesn't have your stolen items. You went through an Xbox. You went through an iPhone 6. She doesn't know where they are.
They were all there when I left the home under her care.
Okay,
All of
let's get
those
to the-
items were
let's-
there. I have a police report pursue them because they didn't have any evidence, because they didn't know what she had in moving into the home.
You have a counterclaim. Your counterclaim is for pain, suffering, for hostile living environment. You know what happens when somebody who has 4 children, including a 21-year-old, is living in a hostile living environment? They move.
I tried to.
They
Your Honor,
move,
I had a son
when-
who had open heart surgery.
Especially when you haven't been paying rent. You've been living at her place, rent-free, where you were paying, according to you, $2,100 a month in your former residence. So you had all this money that you'd been saving. And if you had a hostile living environment, then you take your 4 children and you move. How old are you?
And I also
How
had
old are you?
storage fees and moving expenses.
Storage fees for what?
Because I had to put all of my stuff into storage.
Who cares? You're a grown-up woman. You don't want to do it, you don't do it. What are you people bothering the courts for? I have no idea. You make these bizarre arrangements, and then you come and you say, here's my mess. Here's my garbage can of mess. You figure it out. You're a grown woman with 4 children. You choose your living space. If you don't like the living space, then you move. If you're living there for free, then you tolerate a hostile living environment.
I had to sleep with a knife, Your Honor.
I don't care.
This woman was...
Don't you understand? I don't care.
I was in a
Courts
key-lock
don't
room.
care. You're a grown woman with
Key-lock
4 grown children. You're free, then you stay and you sleep with a knife. Or you move and you put the knife back in the kitchen. You don't bring a lawsuit. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $60. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She would come in the room in the middle of the night.
I've never gone through anything like this. I've never
Just to protect myself and my children. My children had to sleep with me.
met anyone who has
She's a raging alcoholic. So,
been such a liar,
I mean, you just didn't know what was going to happen. So,
schemer, and swindler.
I honestly, she's got issues.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of McGrath versus Miller. Step forward.
Rhonda and John McGrath are suing neighbor, 19-year-old Lavada Miller, for vet bills after her Mastiff attacked their boxer.
This is your boyfriend, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
How long has he been your boyfriend?
About a year now.
He's smug. Do you know what the word smug means?
No, sir.
You'll look it up when you leave here. Now, I'm going to give you what this case is about, so you'll know that I figured him out probably before I got out here.
Yeah.
These people are walking their dog. This lady owns a very large dog. And these people say that as they were walking their dog, this lady's dog charged their dog. Now, she was there. She says that when she left the house that day, she left Smug One with the dog, and the dog was chained in the backyard. They're going to tell me the whole story. But the bottom line is, she says, when I came home, it couldn't have been my dog that attacked their dog, even though they saw it, they smelled it, they witnessed it, they followed it. Because my dog was with my boyfriend, the Smug One, and he says the dog was chained in the backyard all the time. That's your defense, right? That's what I read here. Yeah. I don't know whether you're a liar or he told you that story and you believed him. Now, try to stand up and look interested. Okay, now we'll start the case fresh, because I haven't made up my mind about anything yet, as you could see.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Where were you?
I was actually watching TV, this stupid show.
You were watching TV home?
Yeah, I was watching this stupid show called Judge Judy.
Listen to me. Shut your mouth unless I ask you a question. Do we understand?
Okay.
Great.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Rhonda and John McGrath say neighbor Lavada Miller owes for vet bills resulting from a dog.
Didn't happen.
It was January 14th of 2016.
At what time?
About 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a Thursday.
Were you walking the dog together?
Yes.
What kind of dog do you have?
We have a boxer. He's about 70 pounds.
And what kind of dog do you have?
A Mastiff.
A Mastiff. And about how much does your Mastiff weigh?
88 pounds exactly.
And how long have you had your Mastiff?
I had had her for a month and a half.
Where did you get her from?
The Humane Society.
So she was a rescue?
Yes, she was.
How old is she?
Around 2 years old.
So you really didn't know what her temperament was?
I did.
Well, evidently not.
I did.
Well, if you're such a good judge of your dog's temperament, because this clearly happened, I hope you're a better judge of Smug One. So I want you to tell me what happened as you were walking your dog.
We walked just around the corner, and as soon as we rounded the corner, we could see about 4 houses up that their dog was standing on the sidewalk there, and we could tell there was no one around.
On the sidewalk?
On the sidewalk, on the right-hand side of the Berwick there. And we could see there was no one around, and the dog
Describe the dog. Color.
Large, brownish, black.
So what did you do?
As soon as we saw the dog, we both said, well, let's just turn around. And so we attempted to turn our dog. He just started charging just the distance between he and us and just attacked Murphy, and Murphy went right down on the street, and my husband was holding Murphy's leash. So when it happened, then my husband went down with Murphy, and there were no neighbors or anything out at the time, so I just started screaming for someone to come out, help, help, whose dog is this, to find out who it was. And then people started coming out, and someone said, I think it belongs in that house down on the corner, so that's when I went down to their house, and I was knocking on the door. The dog fight was still occurring in the street there. And I ran down there and knocked on the door, and a small lady came to the door, but she didn't understand English.
Who was that?
His grandmother.
His grandmother?
But I could tell it by her actions. She goes, no, I don't. So she closed the door, and then another person came out. I believe she identified herself as, she said, it's my cousin's dog. I believe she said cousins. I was very upset.
Who else? Who was that?
Helena.
Who is that?
His aunt.
Where were you?
I was actually watching TV, this stupid show.
You were watching TV home?
Yeah, I was watching this stupid show called Judge Judy.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Shut your mouth unless I ask you a question. Do we understand?
Continues in a moment.
That's why I shut him up. You see, I'm able to do that with him because he's a wise guy. I could tell his smugness when I walked out the door. You may like it.
No.
You may like it. They make interesting boyfriends. They make lousy mates.
Okay.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Rhonda and John McGrath say neighbor Lavada Miller owes for vet bills resulting from a dog attack.
Now, did you finally walk outside to get the dog?
No,
Look at me.
I went outside and the dog
Just a second. The answer is either yes or no. Did you finally go outside to get the dog?
Yes.
Great. Now, can I see pictures of the dog, please? When you got home, sit.
Before and after.
When you got home, Miss Miller, pay attention. When you got home, Miss Miller, did his cousin tell you what happened with the dog?
She didn't see what happened.
I didn't ask you whether she saw it happen. I said when you got home, did his cousin tell you what happened with the dog?
No, she didn't see what happened.
I didn't ask you whether she saw it. I said, did she tell you anything that happened with your dog?
No, she told that somebody came
to the door and
asking about a dog.
Asking about a dog, and
And what? That's what happened.
So she said somebody came to the door asking about a dog, and you didn't ask what dog, what happened. Is my dog okay?
No, I did. I went in the back and my dog was chained up.
That's exactly what I said. So you asked idiot boy here what happened to the dog because he was watching TV. He was going to say I was watching some stupid program like Judge Judy. That's what he was going to say. That's why I shut him up. You see, I'm able to do that with him because he's a wise guy. I could tell his smugness when I walked out the door. You may like it.
No.
You may like it. They make interesting boyfriends. They make lousy mates.
Okay.
Great.
Well,
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, let's finish. Now can I see your vet bills?
This is the initial bill, and this was verification that we paid the bill on that date.
You have a very reasonable vet.
Yeah, that's why we go
$1, which is the amount of the vet bill. That's the judgment of the court. You can step out. He can leave.
Those are excused when they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It is ridiculous because
I came home after getting groceries, and when I
actually, after the dog fight was broken up,
got to the house, my dog was chained up, and
another one of her neighbors actually took her dog.
She was chained up. I just don't see it happening.
Walked it back to her house and tied the dog up then.
She basically broke through the house, opening the door and demanding paperwork and money that I didn't have.
There was not a doubt in the world that her dog was the one that did this.
My animal's already been put away.
Her dog was not put down. Her dog is with animal control.
My animal's been put away because of this instance.
There was a prior incident with her dog of another neighbor back in December that her dog attacked.
They took my dog.
So the dog attacked 2 times and was with animal control the last I knew and being put up for adoption.
You were smart enough to make 4 children. You got to be smart enough to take care of them.
A babysitter's long hours.
I would keep them all night for the next morning because when she was working at...
Shorter on the bill.
She never paid you anything.
No.
How much did your mother get paid to watch her grandchildren?
$700 to $800 a month.
I mean, this is all one huge scam.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Stephanie Winningham is suing Dawnette Sigmund for unpaid babysitting fees.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 577 on the calendar in the matter of Winningham versus Sigmund.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, huh?
Miss Winningham, how long do you know the defendant?
I've known her since she was 14.
And how old are you now?
I'm 30.
And came a time when, according to you, you agreed to babysit for money for the defendant's children. How many children do you have?
I have 4.
And you were going to babysit for her children when she was working?
Yes.
Were you starting a new job?
Yes, ma'am.
Had you worked before?
Yes, ma'am.
How long had the hiatus been between your work?
2 or 3 months.
Who watched your children before?
My mother.
And she wasn't able to watch your children again?
No, she was getting ready to leave for vacation for a few months.
When she came back from vacation, was she going to resume watching the children?
No, because I had the 6 children for me.
Did you pay your mother when she watched the children?
No, I did not.
Are all 4 children preschool, or are they all in school?
3 of them are in school, and 1 of them is still in diapers.
You have a very good mother. Very good mother. Now, according to you, you did, in fact, spend some time babysitting for the children.
Yes.
And Miss Sigmund didn't pay you.
No.
That's why we're here. Now, Miss Sigmund's defense is that the discussion was that she was on a probationary period from work and that you would be paid not from her directly, but through the state. Now, had you ever used the state assistance for babysitting services?
Yes, ma'am. That's who paid my mother for watching my children.
Got it. That was my next question.
Yes.
So, your mother is a nice person, but she got paid from the
Yes,
state
ma'am.
to watch her grandchildren.
Yes, ma'am.
And how much did your mother get paid to watch her grandchildren?
$700 to $800 a month.
And how much were you earning at the job that you had?
Minimum wage.
which was $8.50 an hour.
So give me some idea of what you earned a week.
Weekly, probably about $180, $190.
So I'm just trying to do this math myself. So your mother got paid about $200 a week for watching your children while you earned $180 a week. I'm just trying to do the math. How much do you claim, Miss Winningham, that Miss Sigmund agreed to pay you?
$150 a week, but I was called myself trying to help her because I knew she had all these children. And
Well, that's not helping her. If she earns $180 and she's giving you $150 to watch the children, that's ridiculous. Even I would stay home.
Well, I'm an at-home mom, so I didn't have a problem with it. Plus, it was extra
You
money
don't
for me.
understand. I think that $150 is ridiculous. I don't believe that
Yes,
she agreed
it
to
is.
pay you $150 a week.
I have a paper right here that she filled out, Your Honor. And another thing.
Just a minute.
Okay.
This is not she filled out for you. This she filled out for the state.
Yeah.
This is what she filled out for the state. You're her friend. Stephanie Winningham does childcare for me. Dante Sigmund started in November 2015 at $150 a week. It is currently providing childcare as well. She provides food and gas to pick up the kids from school. She keeps them 3 to 11, 5 days a week. Questions, please contact me. That's what she filled out for the state.
That's not for the state, Your Honor.
Who did she fill it out for? For you?
For me, yes.
No way.
And it was for when I go to file my taxes on self-employment. That's what I needed, a letter to prove that I babysitted for her for my taxes on self-employment. But
Miss Winningham, you claim that she didn't give you any money.
No,
Why
she
would she
didn't.
fill that out for taxes for you?
This was in the beginning when I...
Ridiculous. I don't believe it. Ridiculous. Your claim is she didn't pay you anything. Why would she tell the government that she's paying you if it was for your taxes?
I didn't agree with the government, Your Honor. I didn't agree with doing the government thing because I done tried it once and they denied me. So I didn't do it. And
Just a
her
s-
saying that her
just a sec.
mother is getting paid by childcare. They don't pay grandparents child care money
Oh,
to
yes.
babysit.
Oh, let me tell you something.
It's
Let me
written
tell you
in there.
something. They pay grandparents.
I have the application right here where it will show you that they do not pay grandparents.
Listen
for
to me.
childcare.
According to you, what she suggested was because you couldn't get money from the state because you had a prior contact with Child Protective Services.
Yes.
She suggested that you apply in her sister's name. That's what you told me in here. I mean, it's all one huge scam.
I didn't tell you that.
No, no. Somebody told me that in here. I didn't make this up.
I
I'm
didn't
not
want
corny.
nothing to do with the
Just a
child
second.
care. I got it right here in Texas that me and her was texting back and forth to each other that I told her I'm not waiting
reading
on
you
child
from your
care.
complaint. You may have forgotten that you told it to me. It says, she told me she was going to pay me through a government program. I couldn't sign up for the program because I had child services call on me a decade ago. So Duante suggested that she put it in her sister's name to collect the money. And
That is not what I agreed with, Your Honor.
listen to me. I do not believe that she agreed to pay you $150 a week. That's to start with. Not when you're making $8.50 an hour or anything close to it. Don't believe it. That doesn't mean that you're not entitled to be compensated for the time that you did babysit for her at a reasonable rate because you did perform a service. But if you think that I believe that she agreed to pay you $150 a week, I wasn't born yesterday. I was born a long time ago. I don't believe it. And I've seen papers like that, like you showed me a moment ago, 10,000 times in my career. It's usually meant to perpetrate a fraud on some government bureaucrat who's giving away money like it was water. And if her mother was getting money for babysitting for her children and wasn't allowed to get the money, then she knows how to put it in somebody else's name in order for them to collect the money by the hours so that mother gets $200 a week, she works and makes $180 a week, Bird's paying $200 a week, and then she wants to pay you $150 a week as long as somebody else is paying it. Now, we're going to figure out exactly how many hours you worked for her, and then I will make an order based upon some Latin term that I'm not even going to say because nobody's going to remember it. It's called, well, I will say it because I want you to know how smart I am. Quantum meruit means you get paid for what you do, that you were brewing up here, you and your mother and your sister and whoever else was involved, because I absolutely believe that that was a suggestion made to her that maybe we could put it in your sister's name. Say nothing. Now, I want you to tell me what days you worked for her. Get out your calendar and tell me what days you worked for her.
November the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. November the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd. November the 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. December the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. December the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. December 17th, 18th, 19th, 20.
Your Honor, I didn't start the job till 12/20. Here's my first paycheck. It was for 2 weeks prior. I didn't start the job until actually December 10th. So she never babysat my kids in November. That was when we actually talked about, and I found out I was going to get the job. She did not start
She
until
was working
January.
at a strip club before she started the job at the motel.
Until December.
Right here, November, text messages.
I'd like to see it. Well, this was November 7th.
But I didn't start the job. She
sat for the children.
Okay.
Not days you started this job.
Okay.
This was November 8th. Okay, and how many hours during those days?
Precisely, I'm not sure of the time, but it was evening, and I would keep them all night till the next morning because when she was working at the strip club, she wouldn't get off till late, and it was in Champaign, Illinois, and she would pick her kids up the next morning. Sometimes I'd keep them all weekend.
Well, I don't know, sometimes. Listen, is what you're telling me, Miss Winningham, that while she was working in the month of November, she never paid you anything?
No.
Never paid you at all?
No.
Well, you have to pay her, Miss Sigmund. She did you a service.
She is the one that did not turn in the application. She told me if she would have went through the process and we could have found
You
out...
have to pay her for babysitting for your 4 children.
But I never paid anybody cash, Your Honor. I never paid anybody cash. I can't afford to pay anybody cash.
Who cares what you care?
So
That's why
she
we're...
agreed.
That's why we're...
They backdate, Your Honor. The state backdates. So she agreed that we would backdate the child care. She agreed they would backdate her and pay her for those services in November. So Stephanie would have got paid for November. She would have got paid for December.
Just a second. Let me tell you, maybe it was a misunderstanding, and I shouldn't accuse you of not telling the truth. But you said to me a moment ago, and you were as forceful as you were just now, that she didn't start to babysit for me until December because I didn't get my first paycheck until December 20th. Got into trouble when you use your mouth too much and not your ears, because what you said was, I got my first paycheck December 20th.
But I had no
and she
paycheck
didn't.
stubs
You're
from that
not
previous
paying, you're
job.
moving your mouth and not using your ears. Okay. And she didn't start working for me till 2 days before that. She didn't work for me in November. And then I said, I have November here. Well, she was going to backdate it until November so she gets paid from the state. And what I'm telling you is she performed a service for you, and you are going to pay her a reasonable amount of money for that service. That's it. Listen, you were smart enough to make 4 children. You got to be smart enough to take care of them. And that includes if you're going to work, you're going to pay for child care. It's very nice that Bird wants to pay for your child care. I don't want to pay for your child care. Bird wants to pay for your child care. But since Bird didn't pay for her child care, Bird is the citizen of the whole country.
She's never worked a day in her life, Your Honor. She finds ways to get money, so...
Listen, you're the one with 4 kids and not enough money to take care of them. She was the one who babysat for your 4 kids so that you could go out and do whatever kind of work.
Your Honor, she was never babysitting them all those days. I've had to call my mom on numerous occasions because on very many of those days, Stephanie would say, oh, I can't babysit today, or last minute, I can't do this.
Just a second.
So my mom had to pick the children up because it was Saturday, and my mom would pick them up. She never babysat like that.
They cut your mic and not mine. You really have to understand that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
by the time everything was sold, I made $3,000.
That's because you used the house as a piggy bank.
No, I had the line of credit.
Line of credit is just money.
Right.
That you spent.
The way you're putting it, yes. It's not, well, I'm just saying, it's just, okay.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Stephanie Winningham says Dawnette Sigmund owes for babysitting fees for her 4 children.
Now, you just told me a moment ago that your mother couldn't babysit for the children because she was going
she was
on
leaving.
you're not paying attention.
She wasn't gone yet, Your Honor.
Then she could have been babysitting if she wasn't gone yet.
I was.
You have an answer for everything. You're going to pay her for babysitting. Now, you question her dates. You tell me what dates she babysat for you. You're pretty smart. Did you keep a log of what dates?
No, ma'am, I did not keep a log.
Well, then we're going to use her log. That's 28 days. Now, 28 days she babysat for you. Don't speak. 28 days times $50 a day, which is a bargain, which comes out to actually more than what you're suing. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,200. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Stephanie didn't deserve to get that money because
Every time she wanted me to babysit them kids, I babysitted them.
Stephanie said she would apply through the state.
They were there. They were there every weekend.
Stephanie didn't qualify for the state.
It's a lie. It's a scam.
Some of the dates that she was quoting, I had the children.
Child care checks ain't even in her name. They're in her sister-in-law's name.
You don't mix business with friends.
And if you got the child care check, why you didn't pay me?
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Thomas versus Thomas McGill. Step forward.
Ray Thomas is suing his son, Jeffrey Thomas, and his girlfriend, Brandy McGill, for mortgage payments and bills.
Mr. Thomas, this young man is your son, and the co-defendant is your girlfriend. There came a time, maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, that they moved into a house that you were no longer living in, according to you. How long had you lived in that house?
32 years, 33 years.
And where did you go?
I recently retired and moved out, bought another home.
Who do you live in that home with?
My current girlfriend.
You bought the home or she bought the home?
I bought the home.
Does your girlfriend work?
No, she's on disability.
Does she contribute that to the household?
A little, as much as you can.
And what kind of work do you do?
I'm retired.
Do you get a pension?
Yes.
Who did you work for?
I was an iron worker for
32 years. How much did you pay for it?
$15,000.
And you lived in it for 32 years?
Yes.
And how much did you sell it for?
I recently sold it for $45,000.
And your son moved into this older house when?
Around 2014.
When you moved out?
Yes.
Now, had you refinanced that house over the years?
I had it one time, yes.
For how much?
I believe I refinanced for $25,000.
So at the time that you sold the house, how much of a mortgage was left?
I believe it was $15,000.
So you put in a relatively neat $30,000 in your pocket.
No, as a matter of fact, when I sold the house, also had a $25,000 line of credit limit on it.
That you spent?
No.
Well, how much did you net on the house, sir?
By the time everything was sold, I made $3,000.
Well, that's because you used the house as a piggy bank.
No, I had the line of credit.
Well, a line of credit means that they give you money.
Right, right.
And then you go out and buy a car or a washing machine or a vacation. You spend it. It's yours. The same way you're going to spend the $3,000 that you netted from the house, you spent the line of credit money. Line of credit is just money that you spent. So you netted $30,000, but you spent most of it already.
The way you're putting it, yes. It's not, well, I'm just saying, this is okay.
You don't get...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So what months didn't he pay?
There was months where he was behind.
What months didn't he pay?
He was always late.
Anything else you want to tell me before I throw you out of here?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ray Thomas says his son, Jeffrey Thomas, and girlfriend, Brandy McGill, owe for mortgage payments and bills on a house he was renting to them.
Now, when your son and his girlfriend moved in there, they agreed to pay rent, which they did for an extended period of time, according to what I read, and then your son lost his job. In what month did he lose his job?
I'm not sure.
But you knew he lost his job?
Yes, yes.
Yes, because he called you and told you.
Yes.
He called you and told you, Dad, I lost my job. Until that time, he had paid the mortgage payment, which was your agreement. Now, the mortgage payment was really your line of credit because the original mortgage had been paid off. If you hadn't taken out another mortgage and a line of credit, the house would have been free and clear after 30 years.
Right, I had refinanced it.
You refinanced it, and then you took out a line of credit.
Right.
So he was really paying back your line of credit.
The agreement was for him to take over the mortgage.
He was paying back the line of
credit.
right.
Yes.
And then he lost his job. How many months did he rent?
I would say 8.
Not I would say, we're in court. I don't want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear a number.
18 months solid.
Is that right? Yes. And then you lost your job. What kind of a job did you have?
I was a carpenter. That's sometimes seasonal for us.
In what month did you lose your job?
It would be the beginning of that year, 2015, January.
January of 2015?
15, yes.
How many months rent did you miss?
5.
What did he say to you?
Nothing really, like I need to find something else, and I was looking. There was just nothing available at the time.
But he didn't sell the house until February of 2016, so I assume you found another job and started to pay the mortgage again.
I went back to the same company I worked for.
In what month?
That would be June.
So from June until when did you start to pay loan back again?
I caught the 5 months up in September. I paid a $1,200 payment to get it to
Okay, so you caught up in September.
September, October.
So what months didn't he pay?
There was months where he was behind, up to the amount of 120 days behind.
What months didn't he pay?
He was always late. And he was, at one point,
Anything else you want
days
to?
late.
Anything else you want to tell me? Anything else you want to tell me before I throw you out of here?
Judge Judy can. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You have no case.
I do have,
Well, you have I'm telling you, you don't have the case. I ask you a question, and you say to me, he was behind. And I'm saying to me, you don't own the house anymore. So if you had to make up payments at the time of closing, you will know exactly how many payments were missed. Not late, months.
3 months.
Which 3 months?
January, February.
Well, January and
December.
February are 2 months. You sold the house in February.
December, January, and February.
December, January 16. They were out of the house in January. Am I correct, sir?
Yes.
Get out. You're done. Case is over.
Excuse me.
We're finished.
Wait, one thing.
We're finished.
I have back.
We
what
are
about bills
done.
behind?
We are done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I'm glad it's done and over with, and I didn't want my dad to sue me, so...
I didn't want to, but it was the only way I could figure out I was going to do anything about getting my money back.
I spoke to my mother. She probably called him and told him and let him know.
His mother came to me, told me to help him out.
You know, I kind of felt bad that it was going on.
I called him. They were getting ready to turn their gas off. They're getting ready to turn their electric off.
I don't know yet. It's kind of... It's rocky.
Well, it affects our relationship. We rarely talk anymore.
It's probably made it a little...
I'll move on, and
eventually we can get over this and go back to the way it used to be.
Be family again, I hope.
An expectant mother.
We broke up right when I found out I was pregnant.
A distressing discovery.
He was trying to have sexual relations with one of my friends.
And a father nowhere to be found.
And you have a child that's how old?
9 months.
How much money, if any, do you pay the plaintiff for your son's support?
Nothing right now.
But you can understand how furious she is.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Shayna Basting is suing her ex-boyfriend, Orlando Walker, for a car loan, insurance costs, medical bills, and damage to her credit.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 612 on the calendar in the matter of Basting versus Walker.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Basting, how long did you and Mr. Walker live together?
About a year.
And you have a child that's how old?
9 months.
During the course of the time that you, according to you, you put down the down payment on the cars, and then when you were together, he lost his job and he couldn't pay certain of the bills. You covered those expenses. You also claimed that when you got sick while you were living together, it was complications due to the pregnancy. You had some hospital bills that he should be responsible for. Then you broke up. Now that you broke up, you want all this money back. But at the time that it all happened, you were living as a family, right?
Well, with the medical bills and the car insurance and all of that, we were very on and off. We broke up right when I found out I was pregnant due to finding out that he was trying to have sexual relations with one of my friends.
What month and year was that?
That was in October of 2014.
And in what month and year did you buy these cars?
September 2014.
So within a few weeks
Mm-hmm.
of buying the cars.
Yep.
And then when you found out you were pregnant, there was a period of hospitalization. During that period of hospitalization, were you on or off?
We were off. The hospitalization was due to him infecting me with syphilis while I was pregnant, and he chose not to inform me that he had this infection until I found out for myself. And with the infection, which gave him a 50% chance of dying, we still have a ongoing medical follow-up to ensure that he will grow up to be strong and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be medical bills, more medical bills.
Let's finish with the car first,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a very easy thing. So what you're really suing him for is periods of time that you made some car payments and insurance payments after you broke up with him, but was still on again, off again. And ultimately, you had the car that he had repossessed. So he no longer has the car. And the car was repossessed what month and year?
October 2015.
So he no longer has the car, because I'm going to deal with his counterclaim very quickly. Mr. Walker, what you want is, you say you put down the down payment on the car, so since she had the car repossessed, you want your down payment back.
I want all the money that I put into the vehicle.
Why would I do that? What possible theory would I have, legal theory, for ordering her to pay you back for all the money that you put into the car when it was very easy? The car wouldn't have been repossessed. Financial companies don't want to be in the business of being car owners. All that had to be done was that all the payments and the insurance were up to date. Did you do that? Is not an answer. Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
Show me that everything was...
Repossessed the vehicle. All of my belongings were in the vehicle.
That's not what I asked you. I just want you to show me that you were up to date with all the payments on the car for the year after you broke up, with insurance payments and car payments.
I am unable to provide you that information.
Well, then I'm dismissing your counterclaim. That's very easy. Because car companies really don't want to be in the business of owning old used cars.
Right.
And if the car payments were current and the insurance payments were current, they would not repossess the car.
They didn't. She did.
And then it was turned into the finance company. I assume it was turned into the finance company, was it not?
Yes, and if you don't mind me adding, they did attempt to repossess the car before I signed over the voluntarily resurrendered, but he halfway drove it off of the tow truck and over a curb to take it because he...
That's not true.
Whatever. Whatever. Were the car payments current?
They were not.
I didn't think so.
I have proof of that.
Okay, so the counterclaim's dismissed. Actually, the only thing that I'm interested in, and I'm not interested in the car payments, that was your foolishness. That was your foolishness in signing papers that made you responsible without a ring on your finger and somebody that you could trust having anything to do with a car for him. You bought a car, he bought a car. It was like two idiots together. Let's buy two cars together. You know, we can't afford. Have you taken him to court yet for child support?
I have filled out the paperwork.
That's not my question.
No, we have a court date May 4th because he requested it.
Okay.
Due to not agreeing with the process of the evaluation, is what the paperwork says.
What, I don't understand what you mean, the evaluation. You mean how much money he has to pay for child support?
I'm not really sure. You would have to ask him that. I'm unsure what it means. I haven't talked to him about it. But I do have
Well,
proof
it's a
that
child support formula. You understand that, sir?
Correct.
And what's your problem with paying child support?
I don't have any issue. I have an older son that I pay child support for now.
Okay. So I assume that the matter of child support will be resolved. Let's talk about the medical bills. What month and year were you in the hospital?
I was not in the hospital. My son was in the hospital in November of 2015 for 10 days.
How old was he?
4 months, 3 months.
Did you see your son during that period of time, sir?
I actually found out that he was in the hospital through a third party.
Okay.
She would not even call me and let me know what was going on.
All I want to know, Mr. Walker, is...
I was.
Was the child in the hospital as a result of a congenital illness that was passed on to the plaintiff by you?
Yes.
Okay. So if there were any outstanding medical bills, do you consider it your responsibility to cover those?
These are all formalities for me.
So I consider that your responsibility.
Absolutely.
Both your legal responsibility and your moral responsibility to take care of those bills. Did you have medical insurance? You did?
Yes.
What were the uncovered medical bills for your son?
They were only about $80 as of now.
So what bills are you suing him for?
The $80 and then the upcoming bills to come from the ongoing treatment.
You don't know what those upcoming bills will be. And those upcoming bills will be the subject, I am certain, of at least inquiry at your family court hearing. But small claims courts cannot issue judgments in futuro, not knowing what the actual damage is. So can I see the bill where you had the out-of-pocket expense of $80? Because that's an easy. Mr. Walker certainly isn't going to balk at that.
And then I also wanted to bring up the punitive damages for ruining my credit. And I also borrowed him $2,500
You didn't borrow him anything. You loaned him.
Correct.
$76.51. Now, Mr. Walker, just for my own information, how much money do you clearly are not the custodial parent for this child. How much money, if any, do you pay the plaintiff each week, month, Why?
She's not been in contact with me at all. I have not been able to visit or see or even hear my son's voice in over 3 months at this point.
Well,
she's
what
utilizing...
happened 3 months ago, Mr. Walker? If so, the son is 9 months old now, so for the first 6 months you were seeing him. How often?
2 to 4 times a week.
Yes.
That is not accurate.
Enough to satisfy you.
Absolutely.
What happened 3 months ago?
She decided that I was doing this on purpose. Like I went out and tried to find somebody who had some sort of disease and brought it back. And when she told me about it was the first time I had any knowledge of it. So I went and got myself tested. And when I went to the doctor's office, they just a normal check. What they did was they asked me whomever I've slept with. I named her, and she got a phone call. And after that, it was like, I don't ever want to talk to you again. And
so that was 3 months ago.
I believe so.
Well, this is not by way of making an excuse, but you can understand how furious she is.
To a certain degree, I would agree with that. But this isn't about her and I. This is about me being able to see my son.
Oh, I understand that. I've just asked you a question. That you can understand her fury. Okay, about it when I asked you, because you didn't answer my question fast enough to suit me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If I woke up one day and didn't see my little dog, I would be out there with flyers, and I would call every vet in the area.
Maybe you have the time to do that. I didn't entirely have the time to do that.
Just a minute. If you think that I have more free time than you do, you're crazy.
And later today,
if you had permission from the owner to leave your dog in the back, that would have been a witness that would be sitting in that chair.
I tried to contact the...
I don't care what you tried to. I tried to be taller. It didn't work out for me genetically.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Shayna Basting says ex-boyfriend Orlando Walker owes for a car loan, insurance costs, medical bills, and damaged credit. Orlando is countersuing for the return of money he invested in a car and for withholding visitation with his son.
Now, let's say instead of having a son, you had a daughter. And when your daughter was 19 years old, she had a boyfriend, Steady, and that boyfriend infected her with a disease. How furious would you be?
Be pretty upset.
Pretty furious.
I'd be upset because I don't know the
rocket scientist to figure out the dynamics of this situation. You have another child for whom you pay child support, correct?
Correct.
That child doesn't live with you.
Nope.
So you have two children who don't live with you.
Correct.
I would assume, sir, that since for the last 3 months you haven't seen your son, I must assume that you also didn't march down to family court yourself to file for visitation.
I did not.
Well, if you were the kind of parent that said, gee, I see my child 4 days a week, and all of a sudden I wake up and I can't see him, I'm going down to family court. I realize I made a big mistake, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't see my child. I'm going down to family court to file for visitation. You didn't do that. That's not a pipeline. That's not a pipeline. That's not a working on it. You can go into family court pro se, that is without a lawyer, fill out one page that said, I want to see my son. Let me tell you something. If I woke up one day and didn't see my little dog next to me, I would say, what happened to my dog? I would be out there with flyers, and I would call every vet in the area, and that's my dog.
Maybe you have the time to do that. I didn't entirely have the time to do that.
Just a minute. If you think that I have more free time than you do, you're crazy.
I never said that, but
You're crazy. This doesn't take a lot of time, sir.
Yeah.
This takes a morning to run, and you have no day-to-day responsibility for them. The only thing that you have to do is for the one child who doesn't live with you, you pay some child support. Just for my own information, how much child support do you pay?
$300 a month.
And how old is that child?
7.
7. Bird, he's going to tell you that doesn't cover it. Probably doesn't cover half of it. But it's reasonable, and I assume you're up to date in your child support.
Correct.
So let's say they double that in order to provide some support for this child. And maybe that's one of the reasons why you didn't hop yourself down to family court to file for visitation. when you haven't seen the child in 3 months, which is part of your counterclaim, which I'm dismissing because you never availed yourself of the opportunity to go in and tell a judge, I want to see my son, because you knew contemporaneously with that was going to be a request for support. So right now, the only thing that I can award you, Ms. Basting, is the $76.51 that he owes you, that are your out-of-pocket expenses. But I can guarantee you that if the family court judge is worth his or her salt, is going to take into consideration the child's future medical needs and make sure that if you have medical insurance for him, that the defendant is going to cover any overage that you may have in the future for him, since it was his fault that the child is suffering now. Anyway, all right, that's my judgment. We're done.
Done a lot for that man, and all he gave me in return was an STD.
I love my son to death. I wish I could have more time with him. I really wish I would have never met her.
I wish that I would never have met him, aside from our beautiful child that is only here by the grace of God.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Shell versus Todd. Step forward.
24-year-old Roy Shell is suing Kelly Todd for vet bills after Kelly's border collie attacked his Shih Tzu.
I'm going to start with you, Mr. Todd. You were looking to rent a room.
Yes, I was.
And on what date were you looking to rent a room?
First part of September.
Do you remember the date, sir?
Of the attack? It was June 24th, 2015.
Do you remember June 24th, Mr. Todd?
No, it was in September.
Oh, good. Well, then, I assume, sir, all of your records and vet bills indicate June 24th.
Yes,
Good.
they
So
do.
that if Mr. Todd has no recollection of June 24th, this makes my job so much easier. I don't have to ask him any questions.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Right now, it's his house, his yard, and you can't tell him not to put his dog down. What you do is go and get your dog out of the backyard. That's what you do.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Roy Shell says Kelly Todd owes for vet bills due to a dog attack.
Okay. You were living where on June 24th?
In a studio apartment in a house.
Where?
Bremerton, Washington.
Who did you live with?
Myself and Eddie.
Your dog?
The dog, yes.
How old is the dog?
12.
You've had the dog for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that.
Yeah.
And the house has a fenced-in backyard?
Mm-hmm.
How many other people live in the house?
At the time, it was just me. The bottom unit was vacant.
And the owner of the house was not living there?
No.
And you came home that day, according to what I read, from work. And tell me what happened when you came home from work.
So I came home. Eddie was with me. He went to work with me. And I come in the front gate, and I start walking towards the backyard when Mr. Todd comes up behind me and says, "My dog's back there. You should pick yours up." And I respond, "Well, this is my house."
Had you ever seen him before?
He was a stranger. And I said, "Mine lives here. You should put yours away." And he said, "Well, mine does too now," which wasn't true. And so we said that, and I have a picture of the backyard I can explain. He was telling me this, and I opened the gate for Eddie, and he ran off to the yard. And he was telling me to pick him up, so I saw his dog running up, so I approached my dog to get between them, but his dog ran around me. And while mine was still doing his business, his dog was sniffing Eddie, and with no provocation, no warning or anything, just snapped and attacked him instantly.
So that's why we're here, because you had extensive vet bills, which, according to what I read in your complaint, exceeded $9,000.
Yes.
And the defendant never moved in to that
didn't.
bottom unit.
No.
Okay. And, Mr. Todd, I gather from what you told me a moment ago, you have no recollection of this date in June. May I see the vet bills, please?
Yep.
You have
Your
no
Honor, I'm not
recollection?
sure of the date, because I did work for the gal a couple different times.
The one on top is from the night of with the receipt. And then 2 days later, I took him to another place. And then over that weekend was when they did the surgery to fix his broken jaw.
Do you remember Eddie better now?
It could have been in June, but I do know is I did pre-warn him that my dog was in the backyard. He had to go through 3 gates to get to the backyard. My dog was in the backyard with the landlord because I was getting ready. Apartment.
I don't care how many gates he had to go through. That property is his, not yours. And if you had permission from the owner to leave your dog in the back, that would have been a witness that would be sitting in that chair.
I tried to contact the...
I don't care what you tried to. I tried to be taller. It didn't work out for me genetically.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, if you had a witness who was the owner of the property who could testify that they gave you permission to let your dog run loose in the backyard, then we might have an issue. Right now, it's his house, his yard, and you can't tell him not to put his dog down. What you do is go and get your dog out of the backyard. That's what you do. Oh, you live here? Excuse me, my dog's in the back and has been a little testy before. Let me go get him. Not to be arrogant, because I got you pegged as soon as I walked out here and you opened your mouth the first time. It wasn't you, it was September. So, unfortunately, the court's maximum jurisdiction in this case is $5,000 because they have vet bills, because he loves that dog. You did what you're supposed to do when your buddy gets hurt. He paid the $9,000. You're going to pay $5,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Parties are excused when they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He just walked back there being arrogant?
No, I was in my backyard.
I told him my dog was bigger.
One instant she's sniffing him, one instant his head's in her mouth.
I didn't want an incident like this to happen.
They could be the most beautiful, nicest looking dog. Don't trust them.